we are live. No intro here at the Mark It Down podcast.
Yes, boy!
Roman is the biggest bad guy character in professional wrestling.
When's the last time you got laid?
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Like, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Can we tell the truth about Dusty sooner or later?
Less people wanted that than are currently watching our stream.
And you know Vince, and you still think, are these true? It's like...
Welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Mark It Down podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined this week by James Asante, producer boy Eric Asante in the background, and we are back here once again to review tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Fresh off of pay-per-view World's End on Saturday, which I completely missed, but I did watch eventually. And our first episode, or excuse me, their first episode on HBO Max, or if you should just call it Max, excuse me. Fuck you, Warner Brothers Discovery, mostly the Discovery part. It's HBO Max.
And mostly just David Zaslav.
Yes, I always forget his name. I refuse to memorize it. Fuck him.
Oh, no. It's like you got to know the name of the enemy, you know? You got to know who... Oh, I almost made a very dark joke, but it's 2025 and we're keeping it light.
Yeah, but he has ruined a lot of things, Warner Brothers, but this isn't one of them. I will say, James, I don't know about you. I watched on Max tonight. I had a pretty seamless experience.
Yeah.
I guess my only question was, are we done with picture-in-picture now? Is that gone?
I think if we're watching on Max, we're done with picture-in-picture.
Well, Excalibur didn't even introduce it at all.
That's
going
true.
into commercial, so I was curious.
So maybe next week we're gonna have to do one and the other. Maybe you watch on Max, maybe I watch on TBS.
I say, please don't make me watch on TBS again. I am finally done with those problems after the last few weeks. Although, weirdly enough, I have had a way better time using my phone to control the TV app than I ever did using the Xbox app. To the point where when I watched the Christmas episode of Dynamite, I had no commercials and I was a very happy person.
I truly never feel like an old man unless I'm dealing with technology.
I know. And you call me.
Yeah, and truly, I feel like we stray further and further away from God's plan every day with every new device, every new co-mingling that I have to figure out and deal with. But hey, I can deal with watching Max on the PlayStation. That's or the Xbox. Those are the simple things that I can deal with. Anything beyond that, we're getting a little too out of the way for me. Eric's saying that there was picture-in-picture on TBS.
Okay, there you go. So I guess that's a bit of a loss for the HBO Max viewers, but honestly, for the convenience and the quality of the stream, I'll take the hit.
First of all, this is not why I won't get a PC. Video games are meant to be played on a console. All right? That's just how things work. Don't fight it. I know you have something to say that goes against what I have to say. Just don't. He's not right now.
I appreciate all forms of gaming, whether it's console, PC, board. I don't really care.
Second of all, Nick, if you could comment, please, why don't you join the stream? I'll send you a link. I would love for you to be here. Would love it.
Also, a Facebook comment. That was the first time in a long time. But let's get into Dynamite. New intro, which was pretty cool, I thought.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we headed into a Jon Moxley promo from after his four-way match at World's End. He quickly put over Marina for taking a bullet, a.k.a. a Blade Runner from Jay White. before saying he will destroy the AEW World Championship before letting somebody else hold it. And then he called out Copeland, who obviously made his return on Saturday, saying he's just the new loudest guy in the room, and he will obviously take him out. How you doing? We then went live to a rated FTR backstage promo, and FTR talked about fighting for Asheville really quickly. Obviously, this was Fight for the Fallen this evening, as they were raising money for the hurricanes victims from last year. And then Copeland addressed Mox directly, saying he saw something in him at World's End that he had never seen before, that being fear. That was the start of our show, and then we went into our first match of the evening. We saw Hangman Adam Page face off against Orange Cassidy. Obviously, these two men were in the four-way match on Saturday. Orange addressed his recent losses after that match, if you saw the clip on Twitter, saying that he had to get things right, and that started with facing Hangman, and we got this match. Things I noticed very quickly, James, it looked like the ring was a little bit brighter. I thought they turned the lights up a little bit to change the presentation, and perhaps it was just the stadium and where they had the camera, but the camera looked higher up. Looked like a bit of a different angle.
A lot of things about tonight's presentation felt a little different to me, and I wasn't sure if I was just making it up. It looked very saturated tonight in a way that I'm not really sure I remember. Like the colors really felt like they popped.
Mm-hmm.
The angle definitely did. Look, like you said, looked a little bit higher. Danny's just being mean in the chat. Like I got to tell you guys, so I'm on a lot of medication right now because of how sick I've been.
That's okay. It's New Year's, so I'm also on medication.
You know how Kenny, before he went away the first time before the diverticulitis, he was like, yeah, I've been working with this hernia. I've been working with vertigo. I've been working with everything. I would never compare myself to the Kenny Omega of podcasting. But that said, I am definitely spinning right now. And yet I think I'm doing a decent job. So Danny, be nice.
Good luck with that. I am curious to see, though, as AEW, it looks like they're going to start running smaller venues, which I think is the right play. I think we'll see. Maybe it was just tonight, but we'll see if they stick with the brighter colors, the brighter lights. I think just generally, and we'll see if they stick with the camera angle too. It could have just been the venue, but we might be getting some more, let's say, unique camera angles for the hard cam, just depending on the venue itself.
I mean, that was a very, very short walk from the tunnels to the ring.
Yeah.
So I think this was just a smaller. I think this was just a smaller venue. So, like you said, they were working with what they had.
I do think, though, we are going to see that shorter walk, though. I think we're not really going to have much of a ramp except for pay-per-views because they are saying they want to run smaller venues. They actually had to learn how to shrink that whole stage down so they could. And I think what you saw tonight was a result of that.
Yeah.
But let's get into this match here. I did really enjoy the spot. You know what? We'll do that in a bit. We'll get to the end. After two orange punches from Cassidy to Hangman, Hangman rolled out onto the apron, but then Cassidy was able to hit a third one in an attempt to knock Hangman off of the apron. However, Page was able to hang on to the rope, regather himself, and then actually set up for and hit a buckshot lariat as Orange actually was attempting to hit another orange punch. So it was a great counter there from Hangman, and then Hangman got Orange down for the win. After the match, Hangman attacked Orange, hitting him with a Deadeye, holding on to said Deadeye, and then hitting a second one before the referee cord started to spill out, followed by Christopher Daniels, who got in Hangman's face trying to calm him down, and then Hangman decked him, and then as he was leaving, Hangman yelled at him to stay out of his business. So as I was saying, James...
What was CD doing there? He's not an EVP anymore.
No, but we did see, I believe it was last Wednesday, that CD had come up to Hangman and be like, look, I know we've had a couple of problems recently, but I've known you for a very long time. We've had our differences, whatever. If you need somebody in your corner, I'll be there for you. And it seems that Hangman has basically told him to go fuck himself.
He would never.
Missed a 10-minute mark by 4 seconds on that F word. Either way, James, this was a cool match. It was 2 AEW originals, I think, as they mentioned on commentary. And
I almost threw out my shoulder, but it was so worth it. It happened at the same time.
all right, I'm just gonna do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. Nick Maniotis and Danny Hernandez.
I didn't even know Danny was coming in, but that's awesome.
I'm gonna have to
That's
turn
great.
the overlay off because all of us off now. Welcome back, guys. It's been a long
Year's
time.
miracle.
What are you dude, we've podcasted every day this year. What are you talking about?
Danny and I have been talking about NWA Power all year.
All right, it's power. If you're gonna say it, you got to say it correctly. Come correct.
Man, that's
Whatever. I just want a Tom Latimer signature.
I was gonna say Tom Latimer, best champion in wrestling right now. Right? Yeah. I need you guys to know how fucking happy I am right now.
Me too. I'm happy to be here.
We're happy.
I'm really happy to be here.
I fucking hate him so much. Ruined the year.
I love
ruined
you,
last year. Ruined next year. It's crazy because to
He's
see
fired.
somebody win and just not know when to stop. It's like, what more does he want from me?
Who's he? Aaron Judge or
I
me?
hate you.
So, look, you were sick, so you didn't answer me when I sent you all those ball drop memes. But
No, I checked them all and they just kept hitting me like a fucking swat to the face. Whatever. I'm happy you're here, you bitch.
I'm happy you started your new year with balls to the face, James.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Okay.
Rev, you were there.
I was in the city.
Rev's like, I was wearing a diaper, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
Rev was there, but he wasn't present, you know?
Yeah.
Just like now. But hey, did you guys actually watch the wrestling or?
Yeah, a little bit actually. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Enough.
Yeah, and not specifically AEW. He was watching wrestling, but it was CMLL.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about Orange Cassidy versus Hangman Adam Page. Obviously, as I said, Page picked up the W there. There was a really cool spot, James, as we came out of commercial where Hangman was lining up for the buckshot, and then Orange just sat down and rolled out of the ring.
Yep.
And then Hangman chased him around, beat him up a little bit, threw him back in the ring, went for the buckshot again, and then Orange did the same thing, which I think actually ended up setting up the end. But as I was saying, I really enjoyed this because it was 2 AEW originals kicking off, I guess, this new era of AEW, as they've been calling it, and a good match. And honestly, I know Producer Boy put it in the title there. Hangman snapped. He attacked somebody who said he was, was his friend and was going to have his back. So this is, I feel like, the real first, like, unjustified thing that Hangman has done since his heel turn.
The first?
It feels like it. Like, truly unjustified.
He set a guy's house on fire.
Yeah, but like
that's pretty bad.
He at least had some justification for that. ZD was like, "Hey, I got your back," and he just kicked the shit out of him.
Didn't he beat the shit out of the Dark Order with a chair backstage?
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
You never do that to Evil Uno. Man's an angel. I was going to say biracial angel, but we don't know. He could be.
It could be.
I mean, his mask is sometimes 2 colors, so
he could be Rev. Have you ever seen Rev and Evil Uno in the same room?
No.
I'm really trying to think about it.
There's probably a reason he didn't make it into the Battle Royal at All In, because Rev was busy podcasting.
So
they had to end the match early.
The only reason I can't be Evil Uno is because the Dark Order wears purple, and I have no idea what color purple actually is.
All right.
It's the grimace color.
That I know. Yeah, it's this color.
It's 2025. I think we should enter the new year telling truths. that this color blindness is all just been an elaborate ruse since like high school?
No, I will fail the test every time.
I can fail the test too. That doesn't mean I'm not bullshitting.
Okay.
Failing a test is so much easier than passing the test. Like,
I don't know. I've never tried failing a test. But I am colorblind. I have a genuine medical condition. You can try to bullshit me all you want. I'm colorblind.
I don't think we're bullshitting. I think you're bullshitting.
Okay. Tell it to my eye doctor.
I will
Sure.
next time we're there.
who's your eye doctor?
So to the match itself. Yeah, I know Eric is watching this and like we're trying to be under an hour.
Good luck, bud.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Not with me and Danny here. You're not.
I love.
I'm just waiting to cut off James. Go ahead, James.
I love what this match highlights, which is that you can become a main event player and still do the things that brought you to the dance, which is what Orange did in this match. The stuff like rolling out of the ring, that was year one Orange Cassidy.
Mhm.
And we're here in 2025 now, and it is still working. It's not making me groan. It's not upsetting me. Like, it's true to his character, despite all the evolution we've seen from him. He is probably the most grown character in AEW from day one to today. You can maybe make an argument about Hangman, but I would disagree. But I'd say he's the most evolved character. And yet, despite all that evolution, he is still the same guy he was from day one, and we love him for that. So I loved seeing that in the match tonight. I love seeing that in their back and forth. Without getting too much into like the nitty gritty of the match itself, I'm going to stand by the fact that I think the beach break is just a lazy finisher, but at the same time, it was a perfect counter to the buckshot.
Yeah.
It just looks so good when he does it. I know you don't like it, but I pop for a beach break every time he hits it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I love the
I like
move.
it more as time goes on too. It like grows on me over time.
Because
I think
it's not
It started
lazier.
off good and it gets better.
Orange Cassidy is the epitome of like it grows on me. Everything about him at first glance I thought was bullshit, but the more you watch it, I'm wrong. I was wrong.
You had the JR opinion. Like, he didn't get Orange at all when Orange started.
When he stepped into that ring as the Joker in the Casino Battle Royal, the very first one, I was like, who is this man not kicking Tommy Dreamer?
Also, thank you for reminding me Tommy Dreamer was in that match.
Yep.
Jeez, it's been a long time.
There was a guy with no legs in that match, too.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Tommy Dreamer after Orange kicked him.
This tweet, Orange Cassidy now lost 2 world championship matches into Hangman Page in just 5 weeks. Considering how they love to protect him, this is really interesting and may lead to some kind of character shift with him. I don't know about a character shift, but I think it'll send him in a new direction. I think he's definitely been through worse. And I don't know that this is the character break for him.
Yeah, but they've definitely been teasing something with him where, like, I don't know if it's a shift or a new direction, whatever it is, you can clearly see that they've been setting something up for him because, you know, I love the character, and James, as you said, like, he's been able to be the same guy since day one, but at a certain point, you do have to continue to evolve. So I imagine there'll be just a slight difference in him, and I don't know if it's a heel turn or he gets greedy, like whatever it's going to be. I do think something is coming down the line with him. So we'll see what that is, but I do believe they have been teasing it for a while. All right. I guess that was that match. So after that,
Danny didn't have anything to add.
yeah. Well, Danny's on mute.
No, I'm not.
You were for half a second there.
Oh, sure it was. Sure it was. I mean, the match was fun. I love the first like minute and a half of them just going for moves they knew they weren't going to hit. Just because they both have a similar move with the beach break and the Deadeye. But fun match. I like Hangman beating up his friend and / official. I wish I cared more about Christopher Daniels. That would be cool if like I had a bit more reason to care about him being hit. Where I'm like, I feel like this is just another bald guy getting harassed in this company, and like that's the best headcanon I can give it. Is that they just hate bald people there. Which is great for Hangman. It's like, bro, you are someone who has, and you're hating the have-nots. Like that's a bit much, you know.
Jesus.
James, if you're gonna try to cut Danny off, you have to do it a lot more forcefully.
I wasn't even trying to. I wasn't even trying to. I also don't have the lung capacity. But
Fair.
I have a long-running vendetta against CD because at a Ring of Honor G1 Supercard event, he kind of like peer pressured me into buying his comic. And I was like, don't get me wrong, like I was happy to meet CD and the rest of SCU. But I was like, I don't need to buy the comic. Like, I'm just happy for a picture. But he was like, you want to buy the comic? And I was like, I sure. Why not?
Headline, John Cena guy has beef with Christopher Daniels.
Really, it was more Kazarian. Kazarian definitely carnied me into it. But, like, CD was an accomplice.
AEW wrestlers.
Well, he's in TNA now, so.
Yeah, where he belongs.
I will say this on the beach break.
That's fair.
Yeah. James, I think we talked about this last time I was on the show with the beach break. It's that Cassidy, it used to look more like a white noise, and now he just does it so quickly. It's just like he's just dropping.
He's just backflipping.
Yeah.
He's just backflipping the guy. Like there's no nuance to the move anymore.
It's like a back body drop, and he falls with them.
Yes, that's it.
No, he drops them on their head. It's better than a white noise. An air raid crush is a garbage move. Beach break is a fantastic move.
God,
drops you straight in your head. What's wrong with that?
No matter the night, he's got to rip into Sheamus.
And or Britt Baker.
Fella.
Maybe I'm talking about Ciampa.
Fair point.
Another bald person.
Yeah, right? Hey, see that?
Wow, we're uncovering something tonight.
Oh, wait till we get to Ricochet. All right. Let's keep things moving here. After this match, we went quickly backstage to Jay White. Cut a brief promo about his match later. First bemoaning his loss at World's End, calling out Wheeler Yuta in particular before addressing his opponents for the evening, saying there's still a path to Moxley through the Casino Gauntlet match. We then came to our next match, which was the Hurt Syndicate against the Acclaimed. Before the match, we got a brief picture-in-picture backstage promo from the Acclaimed where Bowens asked Caster whether or not he hit him with the belt on purpose during Bowens' match with Jericho. Caster, after kind of rightfully questioning why Bowens waited this long to ask him and like doing it in the interview, said that he did not do it on purpose and he's focused on tonight since this is indeed the Hurt Syndicate, saying he won't even come out and rap tonight because he wants to be on point. Max then started doing his best wrestler alive shtick to finish everything off, but Bowens just left because he's fed up with his bullshit. The match was actually fairly quick as Bowens was rolling during the match, but Caster blind tagged himself in, leading Bowens to get really pissed off at him. And then he's like, all right, go for it, dude. Have fun. And then Caster just got his ass handed to him with Shelton Benjamin hitting him with German suplex after German suplex after German suplex after German suplex before tagging in Bobby Lashley to hit a spear, a slam, and put in the Hurt Lock for the win. Meanwhile, Bowens had just hopped off the apron, watched Caster get his shit kicked in, and then left right after the bell rang. So this was more, it was funny. This kind of worked in two ways. It was a squash match for the Hurt Syndicate, which I thought was pretty good because when you put those two guys together, I do like AEW is presenting them as just absolutely dominant, James. But then we also have the continuation of the seeming split between Caster and Bowens as the Acclaimed just continue to have problems.
I loved everything about this from pre-bell to post-match. Hurt Syndicate, like Producer Boy pulled up, had been booked so well since they've debuted in AEW.
Echo.
They've been booked super well since debuting in AEW. Shelton really did all of the work, looking like a stud, and then Bobby came in getting the win, which is no surprise, but like, all right, Shelton looks like a beast. He looked absolutely dominant. Bowens looked fantastic as the only one of the two to get any offense in the match.
Yeah,
I thought that was super telling.
He had Shelton on the back foot.
Yep. And there was that moment where they fucked up the blind tag, and Bowens literally recreated the spot.
Yeah.
Like he does the kick, he does the run to the ropes, and this time Max was on the right side of the ring to make the tag. So other than that little botch, I thought everything worked out really well. And man, I don't know if I'm getting worked, but like there's a part of me that wonders if Caster is legit getting like real life buried. Because like there's always reports of him getting punished. There's always reports of him having heat. And like I usually just think it's all bullshit. I think it's all kayfabe. I think it's all but MVP made it clear in commentary. They don't want him. Like that business card they gave him, that golden ticket. No, he rescinded. He took too long, and then when he brought it up to Bobby and to Shelton, they don't want him. So, what does he do from here? I don't know, but very interesting story moving forward for everybody involved.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if the Acclaim does end up splitting up, which it currently seems like it's going that way, it's gonna be sad. They were so much fun together, but I get it. I mean, these were two single guys to start with, and it does look like at least they're doing a pretty solid job of storytelling to get there. But in the meantime, Nick, I don't know how much of the Hurt Syndicate you've seen here in AEW, but I've really been enjoying their presentation. Love the crowd chanting, "We hurt people," during the match. I think AEW is doing a phenomenal job with them.
The booking for them in AEW has been significantly better than the Hurt Business was booked in WWE.
Yep.
And I think that's partially due to the fact that they're letting Shelton Benjamin wrestle. Yes, yes. This is like, you have arguably one of like a generational talent, someone who just like is allergic to being bad in the ring, and then you did nothing with him twice. So here we are. Here's this guy for some reason. But no, I 100% agree with you. They look great. Bobby Lashley looks great. Eric looks great.
Eric sounds like he's in a car.
Do I?
Danny probably looks great.
Sorry, hold on.
So what do you mean? Do you not think giving Shelton Benjamin the 24/7 championship was pushing him?
Do you know how much it bothers me that we're not going to get a full Hurt Syndicate because Big Swole needed to like cause some shit with Tony Khan years ago?
Oh, I don't care. Like Cedric was always by far the least interesting part.
I loved Cedric. I miss Cedric. He's not.
You could put probably anyone else into Cedric's position. And
I
it would
agree.
Be fine.
I
like Cedric as a wrestler.
Yeah,
and I think that was probably the most interesting his career has ever been. Hate to say it, outside of the Cruiserweight Classic.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. But you could put anyone else there. And
I mean, we were fantasy booking Ricochet in that slot a few weeks ago.
He would be perfect.
Transpired, but
especially after tonight.
Yeah, after tonight, I can see it again.
Yeah, he actually did hurt people pretty badly.
Well, people. Yeah, it was multiple people.
It was.
Well, I do think that this character change in Ricochet is because he wants the Hurt Syndicate to change their mind and back him up because he needs help. And he's going to try his best to re-audition.
They're going more.
I think it's a school shooter type thing.
Yeah.
Where the kid, like, it's fucked up, but like I think that's what it is. Like the kid who got bullied decided to fight back, and it's like that bullshit narrative. But
we can discuss that when we get to it.
Yes.
Look at producer boy producing.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I'll leave, but I was just gonna say, like when AEW started, the whole point was to be an alternative to WWE, and it was. The stories are better, wrestling was better, yada yada yada. Now we're at a point where the trajectory's kind of changed a little bit, but one thing has stayed the same, and that is that WWE does not promote their black stars as well as AEW, and I feel like Tony may see that as an opportunity. And it's not necessarily like, oh, we have to do this thing. It's these guys so happen to be stars, they so happen to be black. We're taking advantage of this in a good way, in a way where it's not like what's
pander.
Yeah, they're not pandering, as where when WWE tried to do it with like Bianca and Sasha, it was like, oh, they're just doing this to say that they're not racist. Like it came off as pandery. Whereas this just doesn't. Like,
I don't even think pandering's the word in that case. I think token is unfortunately the word in that case.
That's better.
Yeah, and I only push back just to say I think that's more of a Vince thing than anything. I think they've done a better job since Triple H has been in charge. But
I think a lot of people would disagree with you there.
I mean, that's
maybe I'm wrong. But hey, Cody's champion.
That's
true.
Oh, I broke James.
James is sick again.
Oh, that's just mean.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
we're definitely not the people to be talking about this. But
James, before you die, make sure that you put in the will I get the John Cena championship.
Which one?
Yes.
Yes.
That'd be so sad if James died before the John Cena retirement tour.
You could have just ended it on. It'd be so sad if James died. Like, you didn't need to say it before.
Are you getting the new championship?
Like the John Cena championship,
the brand new one.
They made him a special one.
Yeah, he's got another new special one.
Oh, I gotta see it. No, I haven't seen it.
Oh.
I didn't like the last one so much. I
don't know if you'll like. Yeah, you didn't see it.
That was totally unintentional.
Do you know how rare it is to break John Cena news to John Cena guy? Like, this is
admittedly,
historic.
I've been on the shelf for a little bit, but no, that's cool.
I got some insider info.
This is why we miss you, man. That and your sparkling personality, but like,
as I'm having a glass of bourbon at 11 o'clock.
Nope.
Yeah.
I think they officially announced his last day is December 29th of this year.
Oh, we gotta have a full year of this shit.
I heard it's gonna be full time too.
It's gonna be like
part time, full time.
Yeah,
like an Edge.
Yeah, he's not gonna make every week, but like he's there.
You were gonna see him.
Apparently, he's got the old haircut too.
Oh boy,
he buzzed it.
Hey, what do you think it looks like with the bald spot?
I think he went to
We saw it for years.
No, I'm hoping he went to Turkey. The man needs it.
No, just go short hair. He looks stupid with long hair in general. It makes him look like so much weaker of a human being.
It really does.
Than he is.
It's like the opposite of Samson and Delilah. You buzz his head and he becomes stronger. You might actually win a match.
As somebody who just buzzed his head again, I concur. I will say this to just to close the loop on the Hurt Syndicate. I do have to agree with Producer Boy. Like, AEW just presents them as fucking badasses, and that's all. Like, it doesn't matter, black, white, orange, whatever. I mean, they push Adam Cole and he's orange. But like, they're just presenting them as badasses, and that's all they are, and that's all they need to be. They go out there, they hurt people, they kick ass, they have the crowd chanting their shit. Yep, I'm literally colorblind. Thank you, Eric.
Can I just say two things? One, Eric just said it actually. Rev with the classic, I don't see color line right there. Second
Still have
thing,
from Colbert.
second thing that I loved, or not loved, but I made me laugh, is that Caster was like, I'm not even gonna rap because that's how locked in I am. That's how serious I'm taking this. And it's like, bro, no, it's the first stream on Max. They did not trust you. Like they were not gonna do.
He came out and covered his mouth like because he wasn't going to.
So like James said, maybe he's getting buried. Maybe he is, but I think this is the only way you can do stuff with Max because he can't beat people. He sucks. Like he's not good. Like, the best wrestler alive thing is an ironic name because he doesn't he's worse than Joe Hendry. Like Joe Hendry's at least decent, serviceable. No, like he's a meme guy that's music based. That's why he's getting over. But like he's pretty average in the ring. Max is less than average. Like he doesn't even have
Nick
that.
and I with the same face right now. Both not appreciating it.
I've seen some really good Joe Hendry matches. That's all I'm saying.
The guy can work. I don't know.
He's not like, look, I'm never gonna see a springboard 360 moonsault from Joe Hendry, but
you're never even gonna see like a drop kick as good as Randy Orton's. I'm not saying he's got to do flips and shit, but
so because he doesn't have the better drop kick.
He's got a better spine buster.
He does. Great choke slam for a guy who shouldn't be hitting a choke slam.
Great choke slam.
Look, it's not. I'm not saying he's bad. He's like LA Knight. He's just like par.
Above par.
He's like
okay, if we're playing with like
above LA Knight, but below Nick Nemeth in that like you're really good in the ring.
He's not going to put on a work rate classic, but like he'll tell a good story. In the ring.
100%.
I think Danny's saying the caster is even lower than that.
Yes, James and I just got offended real quick.
Yeah,
that's all.
It was the implication behind it.
I know we didn't mean anything. It's just we like Joe Hendry.
Now that you made a thing of it, I'll go harder on the guy, but also, I want to say it's Nick Nemeth isn't that good anymore either. Like he's
all right. Sorry, I should say Dolph Ziggler, but
2012 Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. But that's what you should just. That's what I mean.
Whatever the best. Whatever year he won Survivor Series, that was peak him, right?
2014.
14. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Poor bastard.
I'd say peak him is when he had Money in the Bank, but
Yeah, that's what I was gonna go with.
That's why I said 2012.
Oh, yeah.
12 years run together.
Bitch.
Really do, right? Like that was freaking 12 years ago. Jesus. All right.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's keep things rolling
Back
here.
to Max Caster.
Yep. Or
how are we still on this segment? Like we spent more time talking about things that weren't this segment than the length of this segment.
Come on, Nick and Danny, get on the podcast. It'll be great.
Hey, look, when it's not just me and James off the rails, that's what the Rev has lost control of this episode button is for. But we're going to keep this rolling with a different rapper as we quickly went backstage to Swerve Strickland for an interview where he said that he's going to get back to doing what he does, and that is winning the three-way to get the number one spot in the Casino Gauntlet match, mentioning the fact that he's never actually been in the Casino Gauntlet because he was the champion every time they had that match. So assuming, and spoiler, he lost later, but assuming he's going to be in that match, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he does in it because he should be a great participant. After that, we went back to the ring for a matchup between Jamie Hayter and Julia Hart. Hart having her first match since returning and attacking Jamie Hayter the other week. As we skip to the end here, Jamie climbed up to the top rope to grab Julia from the apron. However, Hart was able to sleep out her leg, and Hayter fell hard on her shoulder. Referee Aubrey Edwards then had to check on Hayter, which allowed Julia to go and grab the arrow from her vignettes, the one I guess shot herself through the heart. But Aubrey was able to catch her with it, and as she went to take it out of the ring, Julia was able to hit Jamie with the miss as Jamie was going for the Haterade by Danny, and then Julia pinned Hayter for the win. James, good match. Nice to see the women not at the end of the show. It was about an 8:30 spot, so good for them. I thought it was slightly interesting to just have, as in return, to have two returning women. I know Jamie's had been about a month, but two returning women going against each other.
A month? It's been like 4 months.
Perhaps long. Oh yeah, duh. But I feel like Jamie hasn't really done anything huge recently, and now we have her first big feud, or at least her first really high-profile match. I think she comes back and loses because Julia Hart, former TBS champion, is returning, and you end up with this. So I also think I saw a little bit of ring rust too. So I enjoyed the match, but it was just a little confusing that they did this. I'm glad we got this matchup, but I'm still a little iffy on the storytelling.
I didn't like when they did it with Penelope. Now I don't like that they're doing it here. It's like they have women on this roster. They don't need to just be feeding one to the other, just building no momentum for anybody. It's super weird. That said, I am very happy Julia's back. I think she's great. I think she developed so well before she went down with injury. And I'm interested to see how she's gonna, gel back into the House of Black. What color was the mist? Not for you, Rev. I know I don't want to deal with it. What color was the mist? Because it looked clear. I didn't see a color.
It wasn't as dark as it used to be, because it was much more pronounced when she was using the black mist, or what I presume to be black mist.
It looked. If you play it back, actually, again, it almost looked like a white mist, and I paid attention to that a little bit. I did watch this match, and I didn't really see any leftover mist on Jamie's face. I don't remember seeing like a black or blue or green or something. It was, I don't know. So maybe a clear. I don't know if they have some sort of white or clear mist. I would imagine they do. We have the technology.
Yeah, but
I think that would just be regular mist.
Yeah, I was just saying you would think they would use something darker just for the contrast. Excuse me. As Eric says, it says black mist, but it seems like clear. I think they just fucked it up. I don't know, but usually they try to go for either black or dark blue or purple or something like that, or green, just to make it really pop. And this one just didn't pop for some reason.
Yeah, I weird.
So is it just spit at that point?
Right?
Like, that's what I was
Did you just spit on her?
Triple H water bottle.
I mean, that would be enough to distract me in a match. Like,
I mean, if Julia Hart spit on me.
Hey, that's a married woman.
Bonk. But I'm happy to have her back. I hope Jamie gets to really build momentum soon because she's been spinning her wheels, I think. And like I said, I'm very interested to see how Julia lands back with the House of Black, because they're in a very different place than they were when she left.
Yeah, I'd like to check in here from Justin Michaels. I really enjoyed this Dynamite. It was very smooth. I would agree with that. I thought this, outside of the camera work in the main event at the end, it was a pretty smooth production from them. I don't know if they got a little bit of a boost here from Warner Brothers Discovery to help them out with stuff, especially because they're on Max now. But everything ran smoothly. Like I said, the presentation on Max was great. So pretty much good job out of them. Just a little director fuck up there at the end. But yeah, I'm excited to see Julia back. I agree with you, James, with the House of Black stuff. It almost feels like they're more of a loose affiliation now than anything, because I feel like we haven't gotten or barely any interaction out of them since the Buddy, Malachi, and Adam Cole thing. I think we saw any of them together.
Yeah.
Hopefully, a little more stuff out of them as a group.
Brody was in the CC, and he looked really good in that. And Buddy has been in Australia promoting All In. Oh, no, Grand Slam.
I
I don't know if that's his thing. And Malachi Black is in his like one of 7 hibernations for the year.
My man just goes in his casket and he'll come out later.
Yep.
And it drives me crazy every fucking time.
It's crazy. I'm not even a huge Malachi guy. I've never been a huge Malachi guy.
I love him.
Like, I get it. I get the appeal. He's just never been one of my guys. But, like, this is ridiculous. Book him in a fucking singles match.
It's insane.
Yeah, I've loved him since he had that match in NXT against a person we're not allowed to talk about anymore. But ever since then, like, I fucking love him.
You know what's crazy? There's like 2 of them.
That's a good point.
Who's the second one?
Without saying his name, I want to see if you can guess. By the way, Justin, Julia was sort of doing that. She had what's her name?
Sky Blue.
And she tried getting Willow, but Willow's positivity was stronger.
I should have gotten Statlander.
That would have been a better heel turn than Stokely.
That would have been hot. Big hands, bald.
Beard? Like,
yeah.
Nazi.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I forgot he faced off against that guy.
Yeah.
Sold the worst, what did he call it?
Black Mass.
Black Mass. Like, absolutely butchered the move.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Great name for the move, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yep. And I agree with Eric. Just let him go at this point.
I mean, yeah, he could join his wife in the LWO because that's where everybody goes when they debut in this company, apparently.
Chill out. He's from Amsterdam, okay?
It doesn't matter. You go to WWE, you go to the LWO first and foremost. All right?
It's that or Legado.
Poor Penta.
Why do you want him to be released? What is he going to do in WWE?
I don't want him to be released.
Like, what does he need this guy for?
Be better. I don't know. Do something. Wrestle on a weekly basis.
Do you think he's going to do that?
Be on TV.
Think about
That's not a wrestling show.
I would see him.
We're getting that from Andrade. We were like, not we, because nobody cares, but like, everyone was like, he's going to go back to WWE and he's going to be used so well. And it's like, well, he was on TV. He was on TV. And that's it. But what was the point? What was the point?
Yeah. I think the different, well, I don't want to get too into it, but I think the difference there is people actually wanted to watch Aleister Black. No one really wanted, people liked watching Andrade, but no one really wanted to watch Andrade.
I even missed the promos. Sorry, Danny. House of Black did, just because, like, the ones where they did with the black background, they stepped out and just talk shit and then like faded back in. Like, even stuff like that, they just are pretty much MIA outside of Brody and the CC. So I just missed what they were doing in general, Danny.
I mean, I do too, but you know, who knows when we're ever going to get them all on the same page. But yeah, I want to disagree with almost everything James said real quick.
Shocker.
Just say, like, bro, it's fine. Jamie is in non-title feud. You just hate non-title feuds for women. You're like, it's bad enough they have 2 titles. Why do I have to see non-title feuds? And you just want
I want a tag title.
Women in title
I
feuds
want a tag title. I want a tag title. I want more titles. I want more TV time.
Because that's all you can comprehend is titles for stories. She's in a regular feud. What's wrong with that? She was in a regular feud with Saraya, and then she was in a mini feud with Penelope. So, like, it's fine. If you're not gonna have her challenge for the title, at least she's in feuds on TV wrestling. That being said, this match was kind of not great, but let it slide because Julia just came back from like almost a year off. So like it's understand, and she's like 23 years old. So like it's crazy. She can't even rent a car. How's she getting from show to show? But you know, like, so we'll cut her some slack. But this wasn't like the best. But like I said, I don't mind Jamie being in a feud. Like if you could have her challenge Mariah and lose, but like, why? You know?
Yeah.
So that's fine. She's in a feud.
Well, that was going to be my question. Do we think this continues post this match? And I guess, Danny, you're going to say yes. Nick, do you think we're going to keep it going here, or?
I mean, if you're misting Jamie Hayter in the face, if I'm Jamie Hayter, I'm not going to just come to work next week and go, oh, that sucked. Well, I guess I'm going to fight someone else this week because, like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
That
James?
bitch spit on me.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, if
do
I
that
was
again.
actually, yeah, no, exactly. If I was Jamie Hayter and I just got spit on by Julia Hart, we'd be having a completely different, we'd be having a completely different conversation.
Bonk. Bonk. Bonk.
You're literally killing me.
I want that belt, James.
Jesus Christ.
You do bring up a decent point, Nick. I do think that if we are having, with this ending, they do have to continue the feud, right, James?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And that's great. Like, I just, again, if they continue the feud, does that mean Jamie goes over? And if she goes over, isn't that more 50-50 booking? And again, who's benefiting? That was the question I asked at the beginning of this. Like, Jamie came back, Penelope Ford jumped on that, and Penelope Ford lost. Julia's back. She got the win, which is great, but if it continues, she loses, so she doesn't really benefit. And Jamie is also now 50-50. It just feels messy. I feel like contrary to what Danny said, I don't mind the non-title. I mind that it feels kind of directionless, and it kind of feels like it's not building towards anything. Like, yeah, she's getting wins, but she also just took a loss. So just don't book this feud.
I would agree with that. I think it's a little early to see where the direction is. I mean, they just started, so we might find something. And I will get to that comment in a second. But you know me, I'm always willing to give things a chance here. So we'll see what happens. But I agree. Like, with these two women, especially where they are right now, Hayter, obviously, she's been back for a while, but she's also coming back off injury, trying to find her place on the card again. And now you have Hart coming back off injury, has to find her place on the card again. To throw those two women into a feud, while possibly beneficial, in the early returns, it does seem a little difficult to see how that helps either party, or at least both of them at the same time.
Julia Hart just pinned a former women's champion.
Yeah.
So I'd say that already helps her, even if she was to lose the second match, which I think would obviously be with a stipulation because she used the mist. So that would lead to a stipulation match, which the women do really, really well.
Yeah.
And it would be awesome. And Julia Hart's going to bleed like fucking crazy. And who knows what the fuck Jamie's going to do. She'll probably wrap her arm in barbed wire and then still kiss it and then clothesline Julia, and it'll be fun.
Hopefully she brings the Legos out again.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Which, again, James just glossed over that. So we were there for that. We saw the Lego bump live and in person.
We went hard for the Lego bump.
I was excited for that. Yeah, that was way better than Thumbtacks. That popped me good.
I mean, we got to a point where almost every time we get the black bag in AEW, it's not Thumbtacks, and it's always better now. Whether it's dice or what did Hook have? Was it pool balls?
Yeah, I think so. Or lacrosse balls or something like that.
It was, and then I think it might have been hockey pucks at one.
That was
like,
Jericho. Like he was like doing every week. He had a different bag depending on what city they were in. Because they were in Calgary. He had the horseshoes that one time.
They've all been
Jericho
better.
wasn't on the show. Let's not talk about him for once.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. But moving on.
Real quick, just wanted to acknowledge Justin in the chat here. Hayter looking more healthy compared to her return. Hopefully we get her to do more hardcore matches, as we were talking about now as she continues to get healthier. I agree with you, Danny. I think we're probably going to get a stipulation match to finish off this feud. It just feels right between these two women. And but we'll have to get there, and we'll get there eventually. All right, but moving on, after this, we had a quick recap of Ospreay and Fletcher and all their drama. And then we got one for the Kazuchika Okada C2 win and Kenny's return plus a quick promo package from Okada calling Ospreay little brother again and telling Kenny to stay out of his business, bitch. I only bring this up because James, I don't believe, had the opportunity to revel in the fact that Kenny Omega has returned to AEW. So, James, floor is yours. Go ahead. Mark the fuck out.
We don't have time for this, so we got to move on.
I'll just say, I had 101 fever the day of the pay-per-view, and I could not get to the end of the show. The moment Kenny came onto my screen, I made it through the end of the segment and I passed out. And I think that was my body saying, it's okay, he's home. And I've been waiting for so long. The plan is, if I am physically and medically able, I will be watching Wrestle Kingdom and then Wrestle Dynasty. That's what it's called, right? The new
Dynasty,
show.
yes, sir.
So I will be doing my best to cover New Japan this weekend again, if I'm capable. And you will be getting a review on Kenny Omega's first match back in well over a year.
Hopefully, it's not a full-blown fever dream.
I don't know that this isn't a fever dream.
With
Like,
Danny
I don't know
here,
that
it kind
this
of
is
feels
real.
like it.
Yeah.
How do you know we're
Again, we
actually
haven't
here?
missed the podcast all year, so
Yeah,
I don't
dude,
know where this is coming
power.
from.
Come on.
Just remember.
Oh, go ahead, James.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say if it's power in Spanish, you have to throw the R at the end. Is it power?
Power.
Just remember, I was this close. Legit, I was this close to, like, do I make an offer for the NWA? Like, I was this close. And Billy Corgan is just not worth my time. But
This is how you know James is feeling the cold meds right now, because he actually said that on air.
I want it on the record.
He specifically told me not to say that on air, and then he said it on air. Speaking of
what a company that would have been.
Speaking of Wrestle
looked
Dynasty,
exactly the same. Tyrus would still be world champion.
I would not be your friend anymore.
somebody call his mom. But speaking of Wrestle Dynasty, our next segment was an in-ring celebration from the TBS champion and the New Japan Strong Women's champion, Mercedes Mone, as she came down to wish everybody, or excuse me, just herself, a Happy New Year by debuting a video package of her just winning, included highlights of her winning some TBS championship matches, a few of her in New Japan as well, and a couple of highlights of her matches in the Sports Illustrated Top 10 Women's Matches of 2024. I think she had about 3 of them, so good for her, including the number 1 match that she had in New Japan a couple weeks ago. Mercedes then addressed her match at Wrestle Dynasty, saying she's not only going to defend her New Japan Strong Championship, but come for Mina Shirakawa's Rev Pro Championship at the pay-per-view. So I'm very much looking forward to that match and James' review at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Going to Justin's question, AJ Styles' contract is coming up. Could we see a throwback TNA Double J versus AJ Styles match?
I would kill somebody to see AJ in AEW, but I just don't think he's going to leave WWE. He seems very
No, he
comfortable
wouldn't,
there.
because he's not a lifer, but he's a dyer, I guess. But how great would it be
He's in
to
He's in a
see
Shinsuke's
Jeff Jarrett?
position.
Imagine Jeff Jarrett just pinning AJ Styles in the middle of the ring. I think that would be so fantastic.
No.
You don't have to imagine. I'm pretty sure you can go watch TNA reruns, and it probably happened.
Multiple times.
Yes,
Multiple times.
but
Like a lot of times where it wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, but now do that in an AEW ring, and it's perfect.
It's gold. It's gold.
To get back to go ahead, Ding, thank you. Get back to Mercedes here. Justin saying, say what you will about Monet, but all the negativity stopped when she started wrestling really well. I think it's more of like, she's obviously always been good in the ring. It's just recently she has been putting on a lot better matches, I think, in AEW. I think she's adjusted to that style a lot better. And her and Statlander just have unbelievable chemistry, which is why they had to run that match back on Saturday. They worked great together. So I think that has shut a lot of people up. You could say what you will about her promos tonight, maybe a waste of time, but I think they just wanted to get her on TV to help promote Dynasty next week. So it was what it was. Eric calling their match of the night on Saturday. Fair, you can argue that. It was definitely top 3.
I strongly agree. I mean, fucking Will Ospreay had nothing on them. It's just dude bled like a mad lad just to be like second and third best match. But it's fine. I will say one thing about this. I didn't love. It felt very WWE in a bad way. Her coming out to introduce a video package like that. That wasn't great. I didn't love that. But
like they wanted her to be on the
good.
show, but they didn't have an actual thing for her.
And that's been a thing with her in the past too. Tony has definitely dragged her on screen for nothing to happen. They did it, especially. I remember there were segments where it was her and Camille just standing on the stage for 30 seconds, and then that was her for the show.
Yeah. But again, they are trying to promote Wrestle Dynasty, I think. So that's probably why they did this.
Was that not what they did when we were at Grand Slam too?
Worse, because that wasn't on the show. That was in between the show.
Yeah.
That wasn't even on screen.
Well,
they could have just had her talk. But one thing, or two other things I'll say about it. One, I feel like Camille was not in that package at all. She was meticulously cut around.
I mean, from what I'm hearing, she's gonna be gone, like contract terminated, gone soon.
No skin off my teeth. Like that's, I don't want to see that match at all. I wasn't interested in that dynamic. Fine, whatever. I'm not gonna get into that. The other thing I wanted to say, I have forgotten, so I'm just gonna have to drop it. But you know, it's cool that they promoted Wrestle Dynasty. Oh, the other thing was she kept saying money instead of Monet this time.
So did what's his name?
Excalibur or
no, Justin Roberts.
Oh yeah,
Mercedes Money, and it's like we're a year into her at this point. Like, come on.
Do I have to?
Are we changing it, or are they just?
Do I have to stop putting the accent mark on the E?
The real questions being asked right now.
For the record, if you have PC, it's Alt 0233 on your number pad.
You are going to have to repeat that after this is over. But yeah, I'm going to have to write that down. But wow.
I had to learn it for Spanish class. It's the only one I could remember, but because E with the accent's the most used one, and I just like memorized it.
Learn something new every day. But yeah, I noticed that too, Danny, and I was going to bring it up. So thank you for doing that. It feels weird. It sounds lazy to call her Mercedes Money, doesn't it? Like, I don't know why. It feels like I'm putting less like care into her name.
I would
agree. It just feels like it was so meticulous, like enforced. The Monet talks and all that. Like,
yeah,
it's not like necessarily forced in a bad way, but now it just feels like there's a disconnect where I'm like, but why? Like, it was so jarring tonight, and maybe. If that's the new direction, I'm sure we'll get used to it in a couple of weeks. But like, I don't know. It just really stood out to me on this show in particular.
Also, too, like Monet just sounds kind of like, for lack of a better phrase, douchier, and I feel like it fits her character a little bit better. Like, you know, like she's trying to be pompous on purpose, and because I guess douchier, but like, yeah, it sounds just a little like pompous and like annoying about it, as opposed to just being money.
Why did you take your Grimace glasses off?
No, all right, put them back on.
He couldn't tell. Tell.
To be honest, it's really hard to see in these. I don't know how freaking Kanye West wore these for a year.
Those are the Monet glasses, dude.
I have no idea where I got these. Probably the bar.
2008, probably.
Yeah, 2008.
Jesus.
Yes,
I
got
quit the
Danny.
podcast again.
But yeah, it's a weird thing. I am very much looking forward to her match with Mina Shirakawa, though. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Like just said in the comments, she's been putting on bangers recently. Mercedes, that is, and Mina's always game, so I think that's gonna be a really good match. All right. After that, we had a setting up for the Swerve Strickland, Roderick Strong, Switchblade Jay White match. We had a quick backstage with Roddy, Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly. Cole called 2025 the year of the Undisputed Kingdom, with Kyle saying they've got every match type covered, including a triple threat, which we are about to get to. And then Roddy said he's going to win, get the number one spot in the Casino Gauntlet match. And then from there, it's every man for himself. We then got to said triple threat. And as I mentioned, the winner of this match got the number one spot in the Casino Gauntlet match. Also, real quick, we gave away this match for free on TV. Like, I feel like we haven't gotten a good triple threat in AEW in a while. And it's Swerve Strickland, Switchblade Jay White, and Roderick Strong. I love this company. I really do. Anyway, as we got towards the end of the match, I like your new avatar there, Danny. As we got toward the end of the match, Swerve had sent both Roderick Strong and Switchblade to the outside. So Swerve ran along the apron, kicked Roddy, and then realizing where Jay White was, decided to jump up on the new sideboard, the LED one, which is pretty cool. I think it's given the guys a lot of opportunities to be creative with the barricades. And then he also kicked White with the same kick. But then when he jumped down, out of the crowd comes a very nicely suited up Ricochet, who comes in and stabs him in the head with a pair of golden scissors. So Swerve is out. White and Roddy then jump into the ring, and then Switch just hits a Blade Runner out of fucking nowhere. He gets the win. He gets the number one spot in the Casino Gauntlet match, and then just leaves. And then, which I don't blame him. And then after the match, Ricochet attacks a bloodied Swerve, continuing to stab him in the head with the scissors before tossing him in the ring, grabbing a chair. And then Nana comes over, attempts to stop Ricochet from using it. And instead, Ricochet is able to shove Nana into the steps and then hits him with the chair before going into the ring, taunting Swerve a little bit, sitting him in the chair and hitting the spirit gun. And he also headbutted him a little bit because Ricochet was just covered in blood, including his bald-ass head. Before eventually Roddy, Cole, and Cool Kyle come down to make the save, and Ricochet fucks off and grabbing the scissors to defend himself and laughing at everybody in his stupid way before getting out of there. James, honestly, the match was good. I loved it, but I'm so intrigued with what we're doing with Ricochet because I feel like he really needed this. I genuinely don't remember a time Ricochet was heel. Now, granted, I'm sure he probably was on the indies and stuff, but I didn't really watch him back then. So for me, he's really been the same character for like the past at least 8 years. And for me, this is a much needed tonal and character shift for him.
No, absolutely. Even if he, again, like you, I'm not too familiar with him pre WWE and pre like New Japan. Like obviously I know Prince Puma, but that's a whole different thing. He
had Conan talking for him the whole time. It's a completely different person.
So even if he ever was heel at some point,
Prince Puma.
We all do. At this point, this is so different than anything he's ever done before. And I think it really needs to be spoken on. I think it really needs to be addressed. How few fans are either recognizing how well he's leaned into his online persona to build heat for him.
Yeah.
Whether that was a pivot because the man just didn't know how to tweet in the first place, or it was always the intention. Either way, he's turned that Twitter troll persona into gold on TV. And now tonight, Producer Boy was talking about it in our chat. This is such a jarring, shocking turn from what we thought that was building towards with him being this fucking dork. Like, I know, like, it kind of got a laugh when I said it before, but, like, it does really kind of feel like, and I shouldn't say it lightly, but it does sort of feel like that school shooter vibe, where it's this kid, like, this guy who is, like, getting mercilessly dogged on, so that's his justification to go fucking crazy.
And it was a very, like middle school-esque taunt that led him to this on Saturday with the toilet paper. And I don't know if that was just something that happened at Hammerstein and they rolled with it, no pun intended, or like that was a plan.
I had read they were handing out toilet paper.
That's a bummer.
So it's probably like a streamer situation.
Yeah.
You used to go to Hammerstein for Ring of Honor shows, and they gave you the streamers in the bag.
All right, I could tell you. I could tell you firsthand at Ring of Honor, it was not Ring of Honor handing out the streamers. It was
initially, yes.
It was this one guy who came with his mom. And, like, he was a super cool dude. He came with his mom. He came with a huge backpack full of streamers, and he would hand it out to everybody, and then everybody would throw it in. So, but damn, that killed a little bit of the magic of the toilet paper for me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thanks for ruining Santa Claus, Nick. But I'm very fascinated where that's going. I said it in our chat. I think the scissors made it really heavy. Like, I don't know what it is, but like a blade makes it feel like more real in some way. I don't know if that's silly. Like, I don't know.
Because a screwdriver didn't.
I mean, I was never crazy about. Who did the ice pick?
It's been used before.
Yeah. But like, I was never crazy about the screw. Like, I don't like when Dom brings out the screwdriver.
Yeah.
But like,
legitimately murder people with these things.
Blunt force objects. These are fine. Hit somebody with a bowling ball. Drop an anvil on somebody's head.
All right, Wile E. Coyote. Jesus.
You would definitely kill people with both of those as well.
But you know what? Aesthetically, it's not as scary.
You know what, James? Concussions aren't funny anymore. So
I do genuinely want to bring up James and I talking about the Evil Dead and Halloween in our chat today. And here he is talking about you can't use sharp objects because that's too scary. But here I am talking about two guys using sharp objects to murder things.
Different mediums, different rules. It's so clear. But
it's such a gray area.
I want everyone to put their 2 cents on Ricochet, but I do want to go prior to the match.
Please.
For me, I noticed Nick kind of put on a face. It was cool to me to see the Undisputed Era, Kingdom, Elite, whatever they are, together. Interesting that Taven and Bennett weren't there. I guess, like, why bring them out if they're just going to be there for 2 seconds? But would also be hilarious if now that Kyle and Roddy and everybody
they're just out,
yeeted out.
Yeah,
but
superfluous.
I'm sorry, yeeted out. But I thought that was interesting. I want to know what Nick has to say about that. Danny, obviously, too, you care way more about it than anyone else here.
I just.
It's 2025. Like,
it's right. Exactly. And it is this like, I love all three of those guys individually. Some of my favorite pro wrestlers of all time. I've seen all three of them wrestle live multiple times. Love the Undisputed Era.
What's going on,
This just feels like we're doing the greatest hits. And it's this like, we don't know what to do with these guys, so we're going to put Kyle O'Reilly back with Adam Cole and Roderick Strong after we made a whole thing about not putting him with Adam Cole and Roderick Strong 6 months ago or whatever. It's
not good.
I know you're right. It's not good. It's not good. And it feels like none of them are invested. It feels like every word that comes out of all three of their mouths is just this like bland baby face garbage that all of them are better than this. I don't know.
Do you think they could work? Sorry. Do you think they could work as heels today, or no?
No, I think it's too late. It's not their fault. I get it. They're like holding on to something because, it's unfair to them. Like, we all loved Undisputed Era, so in their minds, it's like, well, why can't we do that again? Why can't we do the thing everyone liked? The Hurt Syndicate is literally just doing the thing that we liked in a different company. So, like, why can't we do it? But it's like, because the moment's passed, it's gone.
It just
all
sounds
too
like
fucked up and muddied.
they don't want to do the Undisputed Era in AEW. And I think
They keep trying.
Yeah, well, I know they keep trying, but
Like, Kyle was in a loving family of misfits. Why are you dragging him out of that for this? Like, look, the devil shit didn't work out. And, like, by not letting go of it, it somehow ruined one of the best parts of NXT from 6 years ago.
I think, right. And I think, like, one of the biggest issues for this is, for me too, is they always harp on this, like, oh, Kyle and Adam are best friends and they've always been best friends. And every promotion they're in, they always end their relationship beating the shit out of each other. And right before Kyle joined AEW, he ended his feud with Adam Cole beating the shit out of each other. Never once in any of these promotions, whether it be Ring of Honor, WWE, whatever, have they like ended as like, oh, we're friends. They always hate each other, and it throws me. If you're gonna go by the continuity of like them knowing each other, at least follow it a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe I'm thinking about too much.
Tony's a little distracted.
Like showing his Venom head for some reason, but
Tony's a little distracted by James's background there. But I think, and to kind of go off the tweet that Producer Boy had up there for a minute, saying like how we don't want to see the WWE stuff rehashed in AEW, because one of you brought up the Hurt business and the Hurt Syndicate. I think the difference is we knew there was more with the Hurt Syndicate that WWE didn't do, and we're all very excited to see what AEW could do with it and what they can do with it now that they have the leash. We have not only seen the Undisputed Kingdom / Undisputed Era done, we've seen it done well, almost basically to perfection, and we also have seen it done over multiple companies, to your point, Nick. So it's like we're now doing it for a third or fourth time. We know they're friends. We know they break up. We know they fight. And we already tried this in this company before, Bobby Fish had to leave for whatever reason. And, and with the Elite, like, we want to see them do different things. And this is something, James, we've talked about here on the show with Adam Cole being the same person basically forever. It's like, all right, well, now all these people are being the same people they've been forever. They need new stuff. And Kyle had that for a little bit, being in that band of misfits and in the conglomeration. And now he's just back with the same people he was with. And it's just same old shit.
I agree with everybody in concept. I agree with everybody. I can't come up with an argument as to why this group needs to exist. But I look at some of the parts and I recognize that they need something. Was Kyle part of the conglomeration fun? Yes. Was that going to go anywhere? No, it wasn't. That it's not a group that's meant to. And Kyle needs to be with people.
Yeah, he needs people to bounce off of.
I like Kyle a lot. He's not a main guy. He's a group guy.
Yeah, which is why he was in a group, and it was.
But a group that was doing nothing, a group that had no future, like a group that Mark Briscoe is their highest level guy.
I also it is better to be in the conglomeration than this group that's going to actively make him worse.
I mean, if he's going to win titles and be part of, I don't know. I don't know because
this group wins titles. Oh my god.
Because we care that the trios titles are on their waist as opposed to not being on TV for the last 3 months. Like,
I'd
come
rather
on.
them be on the Deathriders.
No, they had the Deathriders haven't been the trio that have been trios champions on TV in months. We've either had Mox, Claudio, and Yuta like tonight, or we've had Mox, Yuta, and Pac, or we've had Mox and Pac and Claudio. We haven't actually had the trios champions be the trios champions together, and I can't tell you how long.
He's getting choked up about it.
Well, they're clearly they're more likely to lose to Rated FTR than the fucking jabronis of the Undisputed Era.
And I'm not saying the Undisputed Era should be the guys to take the titles off them.
Producer Boy even forgot they had the titles. Now, granted, they're not wearing them because the whole we don't do the titles thing or don't display the titles thing with the Deathriders, but which I think only just, lends to the fact that we forgot or people are going to forget because they don't really advertise it and they don't defend.
So do I need the Undisputed Kingdom to be the guys to take the titles off them? No. But would I be fine with the three of them winning the trios title at some point? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's fine with me. And Roddy, I think Roddy was doing fine with Taven and Bennett. Like, I don't think he needed Cole back into it. I don't think he needed Kyle back into it. I think that little trio was fine. Like, they are in mid-card act, and you need that just as much as
I very strong one at that. Go ahead.
And I love Roddy, and I think that was the most interesting his career in AEW has been so far.
Yeah.
And then now to that point, it's just going to be overshadowed by Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Who is very obviously the star of the group.
I think the reality is, and you guys are definitely going to disagree, I don't think Roddy needed this. I think Cole needed something, and they decided people like this, and we want people to like Cole, so let's go with this. It's probably not going to work. They need Cole to be heel. It's just the moment he had to be babyface, gone. It's gone. You can bring it back in a year if people really warm up to him, but they're not going to cheer him. They booed him at the fucking pay-per-view. Reuniting with the other two, they were booing him.
Yeah.
And I personally, I don't think if my choice is Kyle doing nothing in the conglomeration or Kyle doing nothing in the Undisputed Era or Undisputed Kingdom, I'll take it. That's fine. Like, he was the least interesting act of the conglomeration. And that's a group that had Ishii in it. So, it's fine.
Yeah, I think to Justin's point in the comments, he's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's not that it's broke. They went with the safe option, I think, with not just Cole, almost all of them at this point. Like, it's a tried and true formula. We all know we like all these guys together. So just roll them back out there, especially because Cole now, for whatever reason, needs to be the face, in the feud with MJF, which is a whole different disaster we don't have time to talk about. But, and thank God it's over. But again, I just think we're all kind of bored of it. And the reason, James, I think everyone's booing is just because, again, same old shit. Like, we need new things for these people, especially Cole. A heel turn would work wonders for him. Doing other things, going against other people. There are so many people he needs or should be feuding with or could feud with that he's probably never been in the ring with. And it would be awesome. And instead, we're just back to the shit he was doing 5-10 years ago.
Bottom line, I might finally, after close to a decade, get my closure of Kenny Omega versus Adam Cole. And I could get the Elite versus the Undisputed. I'm giving Nick heart palpitations. I'm giving him so much stress.
I will say the man deserves a chance to avenge his murder.
Which one? There was a reality where this was going to be Kenny and the Bucks versus Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly.
Kyle, yeah.
And now we're subbing out O'Reilly for O'Reilly. We're subbing out
Fish for Strong.
For Strong.
Which we already did in
fine.
NXT.
Yeah, which is fine.
And if you throw Taven and Bennett in, I could somehow suck in Hangman and Ibushi. And I'm just saying my WWE Universe mode is coming to life in some way here. And like 6 years too late, but we're making it work.
It's not even
Right.
fantasy booking, it's video game booking.
Making it happen and making it work are not the same things, buddy. Okay. That sounds
Ye of little faith.
terrible.
He's got a point.
Keep Hangman out of that
thing.
shit. He's too good for that.
If Bobby Fish could get his grandkids to come over and set up his streaming service, he would be pissed about
That's funny. That was a great tweet. That was an old
Sounds
timer.
good.
But yeah,
He's too busy hanging out with Brock Anderson.
look, let James die for a second because he's just spewed so much fucking bullshit. It's insane. If they look, I didn't even really want the Undisputed Era versus the Elite match when they first jumped Kenny, like when they first turned. I didn't want it then, and I especially don't want it now. That'll way to ruin Kenny's comeback right off the jump if you do some shit like that. Like that's garbage, bro. Let Kenny go be a beast. Let him be the big bad of AEW. And by big bad, I just mean the best wrestler who people try to beat but can't. Like, just let him do that. Keep him out of the bullshit. If you want to do a little bit of Hangman stuff, I'm for that. Specifically, him and Hangman. Keep Adam Cole way away from that. Let Adam Cole let them lose to House of Black and then drown on go to ROH or something, Burgett. Like, I don't just no. I feel bad because it's been a rough year for the guy, but like,
great human being. Nobody has a bad thing to say about Adam Cole, the man. But yeah,
not even
what happened is the real question.
Between
no, just to Adam.
He's been Adam Cole for the last 15 years.
Same old shit.
He has not changed his gimmick once. And I like his. The problem is, and I was going to say this about the real reason with Undisputed Kingdom. Fans never got it in a big way. It happened in NXT, and we loved Black and Gold NXT. But for a lot of fans, that was, okay, this is only NXT. This didn't happen on the big stage that it deserves. So fans felt cheated there. Same thing with Adam Cole as an individual. Adam Cole, that character, oh my God, it's amazing. It made him the Ring of Honor champion. It got him signed to NXT. It made him the NXT champion. Oh, wait, he never won the WWE title? He never made it to the main roster? Oh, he'll do it in AEW. He'll become the AEW champion. Oh, he's been gone for he's been injured for what is the equivalent of like a year and a half?
That has really thrown off his momentum in AEW.
It's not his fault, but he's just been this guy for so fucking long, and he's never grabbed the title or the title.
I was like, not even the brass ring. He's just never grabbed gold. Period.
I never want to address brass rings. It gives one man too much credit.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah,
Sonic.
It's a gold ring.
That's gold rings.
I was like, I'm colorblind and I know those are gold rings.
I know, but that I had to force it in there. Look, Sonic's a loser, so like that's fine.
I heard the new movie's good, so
it was great. I'm a Knuckles guy though.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure the movies are great. I guarantee Sonic's trash, bro. Get that. Him and Mario can go fuck off, bro.
Where Luigi stands here.
Oh, Danny, you're a Spyro guy, right? I think, or in Crash Bandicoot.
Both of them, yeah. Supremacy. But yeah, like any
that's a different
proud
podcast.
American
How can you say that when Banjo Kazooie exists?
Ooh, good. It's a good pull.
I will forever be a Jack and Daxter guy. So
Sly Cooper.
That's fine because that's just the evolution of Crash and Spyro.
Also, Ratchet and Clank, great. But
that is the other evolution of Crash and Spyro, so fine.
yeah, I know. But all right.
Those are just the little brothers to my games, so it's fine.
Check us out on our new 2000s video game podcast.
All right, I was going to say we can talk about video games and Adam Cole for the rest of the night, but we do have to move on. I am going to go slightly out of order here just because the Jeff Jarrett things were cut off in the middle. So I'm going to go to Mariah May's backstage promo real quick. She basically just talked a lot of shit. saying that she was told to say good things about the women's division, so she just said it was good. And then she said the only reason it is good is because of her, as she is the only one who cracked the top 10. I guess they were, again, referencing that Sports Illustrated article, while everyone else was faking injuries and continuing to lose to her. So just a quick Mariah promo. It was always nice to see her. Nigel McGuinness voice. We also had, before that, quickly, an interview with originally the Slapnuts before Jeff Jarrett came over, as Marvez asked the Slapnuts if they had heard from Jeff, and they were kind of just like, yeah, not really. He hasn't really answered our texts or anything. But then he comes over, and Jay Lethal was like, look, we have your back no matter what, but are you sure about this? And he's about to say yes, but Karen Jarrett then came over, and she said that this business is what is in his heart and what brought them together, but is also what continues to break him. So she says whatever he wants, she wants, and hands him a pair of boots as they appear to tease his retirement.
Can we hold on? Can we take a moment to address how ridiculous that sounded? Her promo. It was like, this business is what brought us together, and
all I could think of was Kurt Angle.
What one? Yes, Jesus Christ. And two,
I'm sorry, Kurt.
But beyond Kurt, it sounded so much like she was saying, if you retire, I might leave you. But no, I'll find it in me to stay with you, even if you retire. That was 1,000% the vibe I got from that promo.
Babe, I need the grind of the road.
I thought it was such a disingenuous promo.
A Karen Jarrett promo.
Yeah.
Yeah, nailed it.
Shocker.
There's a reason she doesn't talk a lot on television. I honest to God cannot remember a promo she has got in AEW at all.
I don't think she really has.
Yeah, this might be her first one on Dynamite. Like,
She's spoken, but promo? No, I don't think so.
Yeah. She's definitely never said more than a sentence. This is easily the longest she's talked on AEW television, at least, again, on Dynamite. Justin calling Karen a wild one. You're not wrong. But after we had the Mariah promo, we went to Jeff, who went out into the ring and wished everyone a slappy new year before saying that he has had a lot to be grateful for this past year. And as he's been thinking about that, he was thinking about how things end, which made him think about the beginnings before recounting the history of the Jarrett family in wrestling. Now, he did a pretty good job of it with his grandmother and his father, but the Jarretts in wrestling is crazy cool if you ever want to go back and look up all that stuff. I think Meltzer usually covers it pretty well in some of his old observers, but like his grandmother, like selling the tickets and then like buying the company and his dad buying it. And then it's all wild. The Jarretts have been firmly entrenched in wrestling since the good old days. Jeff then goes into his own career, saying he's made a bunch of high-risk, high-reward decisions, starting with him dropping out of college when he was playing ball to start his wrestling career. And then he talks about starting his own promotion, which produced some of the best wrestlers in the world. James was very gleeful about that. James then wondered if the last outlaw, Jeff then wondered if the last outlaw should just ride into the sunset.
No, I was wondering.
I'm sure you also wondered. But he decided, hell no. And he announced that he signed his last professional contract with AEW, and he will be chasing AEW Gold, not the trios titles, not the tag titles, immediately burying those two titles, but the AEW World Championship, declaring his New Year's resolution to become the World Heavyweight Champion and announcing that he will be entering the Casino Gauntlet match. So, Nick, I think we're kind of going to get a little bit, not a sting run out of Jeff Jarrett, but we're going to get a one last ride kind of run out of him this year. I am low-key looking forward to it. He has been great in AEW, and I don't think he'll win any big titles or anything, but I think they're definitely going to give him a good send-off. They seem to be well-equipped to do that, considering everything that they did with Sting.
Who do you think his last match is?
Lethal.
I don't think so.
I don't know. It was just the first one I thought because he's right there next to him all the time.
I think Mox kills him.
Yeah, I could see it being Mox.
It would be pretty funny if it just ended in like March. It's like, yeah, I got a full year left.
I've got
baby,
a
and Mox
6.
just murders him.
Did he say it's going the full year? Like that's
I don't
what
know. He just said it was his last contract. So
It could even be
Yeah.
more. I mean,
yeah.
it could have been a hey, you got 3 years. Let's do something.
Yeah.
I don't want to see world heavyweight champion Jeff Jarrett in AEW at all.
I mean, I wouldn't mind TNA
But-
champion Jeff Jarrett, but
I don't want to see TNA champion Jeff Jarrett at all.
oh, did I say TNA? I meant TNT. Sorry, no TNA.
Oh.
All right, that's my bad. That's my bad. I was looking up.
I'd rather
I was
TNA.
looking up Jeff's age, and I
No,
read
no,
TNA
no.
on the screen by accident. Jeff, by the way, is 57. Just for the record.
Listen. If he can win the TNA title, because who cares? That's a garbage promotion that no one watches. So like, you could put that title on him. That's fine.
Burying
They-
Impact.
If
They
Chris
hire
Jericho can be the ROH World Champion, Jeff Jarrett can win that title.
Actually,
He should just die. He should die in the ring against Mox, and like,
Jesus
that's what
Christ.
he wants.
like they just go out and they just cut it to black, like the end of the wrestler. We don't find
Yeah.
out what happens to him.
Like, so
We
sorry,
never
folks,
see
we
him again.
cannot show you what happened to Jeff Jarrett. You will never see him again. Like, he shouldn't. If this was any other Jeff Jarrett, if this was TNA Jeff Jarrett, if this was Global Force Wrestling Jeff Jarrett, you know,
Fuck,
I
if
would
this
be
was
worried.
WWF Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, I would be
WCW Jeff
worried.
Jarrett.
But this is AEW Jeff Jarrett.
Someone
He
bringing
knows
Beetlejuice.
what to do. I trust him. He's not going to win this title. He's going to die the same way Brian died. He's going to be strangled. It's going to be horrific. And it's going to be just really nice heat for Moxley or whoever puts him down. So, like, I'm for it. And also, I would just like to point out that Rev finally threw to someone first besides James. And I think that's noteworthy.
All right, to be fair, I've been throwing to
To be
James because
fair.
he watched the episode tonight, so I've been throwing him for the matches. But for
I watched-
I watched the episode.
Some of the episode.
well, that's
Most
the thing. I
of
don't
the
know what you guys
episode.
watched. So all right, I'll start throwing it out there.
I'm caught up to where what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Live,
And we
live
could skip
producing.
James on this one. We don't gotta throw him at all.
I'm laughing at Eric's idea of making Ring of Honor the old age league, just no one under 45.
Someone bring Jerry Lynn out of retirement.
You know what's funny? Like Ring of Honor right now is like an independent baseball league where you have a bunch of rookies and then like Jose Canseco way past his prime. Like that's what Ring of Honor looks like right now.
Who's Athena at this point?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, I mean, she. It's who's the one person who carries the independent leagues? She's Kenny Powers.
It's like fucking Manny Ramirez in the league he's in now. Like currently, where
Manny
he's
Ramirez.
still
I think James
balling.
might cough up a lung by the end of this episode.
Oh, sorry, man. I didn't mean to bring up 2004 or anything. Like, My
I
bad.
didn't say.
Ooh, Jason Giambi. Ooh.
speaking of steroid guys,
I was side note, I was playing MVP Baseball 2005 the other day with my cousin who had never played, and he's the big Yankee fan, and he was like, "Why are the Red Sox all over this thing? I hate this game." Like, because they just beat the Yankees and then won the World Series like 2 months before it came out. God,
yeah.
I mean, that's first of all, you should not be family with him anymore. If he's a Yankee fan, but
Who was it, Daniel?
Yeah, it was Daniel.
Yeah.
Nice coach.
that's fine. He's young. He doesn't know any better.
Yeah, he's a child. He's bigger than me, but he is a child.
Yeah, what happens? Yeah. Good stuff. I feel like we can move on, right? Because like I said, we don't got to throw to James unless Nick has anything else he wants to say about it.
Well, I mean, with every minute that we go over the hour, Eric's like the veins in his head are just getting like they're pulsing even more.
We're just seething.
No,
He said
Eric
he figured
knows.
he's fine. He's fine. He said it was fine.
He's
He
with the
knows
four of
that-
us. He was like, "There's no chance."
He wanted us all in the pod. He knew, like you have to take it's a give and take. We gave and we took from him.
This is a special appearance from Danny and I. We're part-timers.
Yeah.
We can go over the hour. I don't care anymore.
Did this son of a bitch get rid of all of my TNA banners?
He got rid of every banner. So I'm a little more behind inside baseball there. For the record, I cut down my recaps a lot. So I'm doing my part.
I don't want to
I
say
didn't do.
I didn't notice, but I really.
Thanks, Annie. I appreciate it. It'll reflect if you guys don't come back next week. We'd love to have you back, but it'll reflect next week. I said if.
Maybe.
Well, we're all going to be on the stream for the first Raw on Netflix, so we'll see how it goes then.
We'll see if I can log into Netflix. I use my mom's account, and sometimes it's like, no, you don't live here. It's like, all right.
Oh, yeah. Email your mom and get the
password.
The code,
I don't even know if she knows what it is.
Wait, why? Email his mom.
Well, yeah,
Don't
because
call her,
I'll email
don't
my
text
mom.
her. Don't stop by.
No,
email
so
her.
what?
Don't buy your own Netflix. Just
I fully understand Rev's dilemma because I have the same dilemma.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating because if I ever want to get onto Netflix from like my phone or something like that, I have to text my mom and be like, check your email, give me the code, and then we're good. But I don't want to have to send her that text message every time I want to watch Netflix. So I just don't watch Netflix.
Joke, checked one night because I wanted to watch the Vince doc when it came out. Watched like the first couple episodes, went to bed, went back the next day, logged out, couldn't watch it for another month and a half.
I can't prove it, but I think Matt of the pod, may have. Oh, you're familiar with him?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
He may have indicated on live air that he continued to date a girl so he could use her Netflix to continue watching the Vince doc.
Pretty sure I was here for that one. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not airing.
Classic.
But yeah, that's why you gotta put the Netflix under your email and just let them, my parents, they use it as much as they want, but it's under my email, and whenever I want to take it away from them without them knowing, I do the fucking online email thing, and I take it back, and then when I'm done, I give it back to them.
I don't pay for any streaming services, so
I know you're on like 5 of mine.
No, I'm not.
You're on like 2 of them at least.
I was on your network, your WWE network, but then when I moved to Peacock, I started. That's the only one I pay for is Peacock, but I traded with my friend David for Spotify. So that was the only one of yours I used. Everything else is either my grandma's Files login or my cousin's Paramount.
Spotify?
Yeah, I'm on his family plan. Technically, according to Spotify, I live at his house or his parents' house.
I kind of want to throw up. Holy shit!
No, it's my own account. It's just like the family plan.
Yeah, no, it's still that's.
I'm
Do you get a discount?
I don't have a Spotify.
Yes. Moving on.
Look, we know you hate music. You're a fucking weirdo.
I don't hate music.
I don't think I have a James Hates music banner. I think it's just about women.
Like he doesn't like to. He's proud of the women one. He's a little more ashamed of the music one, so he doesn't bring it up often.
I'm just saying. When was the last time you saw James at a concert?
I've never seen James at a concert, and that's
me neither.
That's upsetting, honestly.
What was the last music thing I went to?
But I'd also
Sick New World. That was the last thing I went to in Vegas.
I'm not
I
shocked.
haven't seen Rev at a concert either.
I'm not shocked. James having $600 for Sick New World tickets.
Oh, there's a new one that I bought tickets for. I don't know the name of it. I'll find out. We'll talk.
Sick New World's been canceled, so
no, it's
not that.
The tickets went on sale like a month ago, I think, or like a month.
When we were young.
Another maybe.
Is it in Vegas?
God, I hope not. When we were, is it that? What's it called? When we were young.
Yeah.
For the record, last concert I went to, I think I went to see Dropkicks in September.
Oh, okay. That's pretty recently. I would
I
hate
get-
to bump into Rev at a
Get
concert.
along, all right, Jesus. While James is looking up that tour, I'm going to just briefly blow through the next couple of segments because they were quick. We had a Hook promo package. He talked shit to Christian, said his business isn't finished with him. He's going to finish with that turtleneck started and choke Christian out. And then we have the match announced for Dynamite Maximum Carnage in 2 weeks. We had a Powerhouse Hobbs, which I misspelled, squash match. He pinned both guys after a couple spine busters. And then we had a Big Bill and Brian Keith backstage interview. Marvez asked them where Jericho was. And after calling North Carolina, Bill says that Jericho isn't coming as he wouldn't show himself down in such an place. They then get distracted by the quote-unquote hometown heroes and rated FTR as they were headed towards the entranceway for their match. Bill asked why they're so proud to be from Asheville, which is obviously where they were tonight, and talks shit about the town. And then Brian Keith called them dumbasses. Copeland then got on their faces, asking if Keith had Jericho feed him that line about dumbasses before calling Bill's face stupid. And then he laid out a challenge for Collision, rated FTR versus the Learning Tree, which we will see on Saturday. Was that quick enough for your producer boy? We then went to, after commercial, MJF's Post-World End promo after his victory over Adam Cole, completely covered in blood. He mocked Cole's win on Saturday, saying it took an entire army just to beat him up. But mercifully, for all of us, the Better Than You Baby chapter is closed and a new chapter is starting. He says that he's going to go after his Triple B, which for some reason he said he never lost, but he very clearly did. I was there.
Whoa. He said he never lost fair and square.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Wait, all right, important. Warped Tour. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yeah, even I know.
Yeah, James, I'm 30. I'm 30 years old and listen to metalcore sometimes. I know Warped Tour.
Okay, Orlando.
Orlando.
Yeah.
What, a camping world?
They were doing Orlando, DC, and California, and I was only able to get.
Oh yes, because the other two were sold out. Yes.
Well, no,
that's right.
I got it. It was the only one I was able to get the VIP for at the time. Yeah.
Well, funny enough, the other two are sold out. Orlando, I think, is still.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
That was honestly a pretty solid drop.
Yeah,
I was burning right through this, and you had to hop in there with Warped Tour.
No, this is important. This is important. But Warped Tour is history. Warped Tour is more important than. First of all, for this Warped Tour is bullshit. This is propaganda. Warped Tour. Warped Tour is supposed to be $30, $40. It's not supposed to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars and only take place in 3 cities. It's corporate Warped Tour. It's bullshit. I won't stand for it.
Corp Tour.
I blame when we were young for doing this because they proved that you can just do a more expensive version of something we used to get for like pennies on the dollar.
$60.
Yeah,
At the most.
Well, I paid $40 in 2012 to go to Warped Tour.
Yep.
And that now it's hundreds of dollars. It's fucking garbage. But have fun, James. Even though you don't listen to any of the music, have fun.
Oh yeah, I don't. It was a gift.
I'll give you a shirt
to
you
what
can
yourself?
No, for my girlfriend.
That
wear.
makes
Who's she
sense.
listen to?
Oh, she's
all of those bands.
She's got a very eclectic music taste. I listen to show tunes and soundtracks.
James, a big Les Mis guy.
On occasion.
Anyway, MJF called out Mox. He wants his title back. All right, let's hit the main event. As we had the Deathriders, who, as James was referencing much earlier in the episode, was made up of John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta this time, facing off against Rated FTR for, I believe, the first time, which is pretty cool. First things first. Apparently, he's just Cope now.
Yeah, that like it was cool when we called him Cope. It feels like he's a cop now that he's calling himself Cope.
how do you do, fellow kids? Like, yeah, it very much felt like that. Look, I guess we're all just going to have to cope with it. Anyway, to go to the end of the match, after pulling Copeland's huevos into the ring post, Claudio took out cash, and then Mox stripped the announce table and set up Copeland for a pile driver. And then shit kind of got weird because, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, the directing got a little screwy, so we didn't really see all of it. But with everyone distracted what was going on in the announce table, Jay White snuck into the ring and hit Wheeler Yuta with a Blade Runner and then bailed out when Claudio noticed and avoided getting caught by him. Meanwhile, Copeland countered this pile driver attempt with a back body drop, I guess onto the table, and then Mox bounced off of it and then dove on him and put him through the barricade. And FTR was able to recover. They got back in the ring, hit a shatter machine onto Yuta, and then Copeland came back in, and Yuta got thrown right into a spear, and Copeland pinned him for the win. So, Dan, you fun main. This was just a fun main event. I think it was just kind of one of those, like, you know, the hometown guys are going to win the main event stuff, but also too, it does look like they are setting up Copeland to go after Moxley's title. Also, a decent chance that they try to set up Rated FTR for going for the trios titles. Copeland did say at the presser on Saturday that he won all of them. So we'll see what happens there. But it was a decent enough match. Nothing crazy to write home about. But I think it was just one of those things where they were trying to send the fans home happy, considering it was Fight for the Fallen in their hometown of Asheville.
Wow, you really should have gone James first on this one.
Well, I picked you.
So I'm kidding. Like, I mean, I don't have strong feelings on this, but like you said, they're setting up Cope, as he's always been known, to go after Mox, as he's always been known. And, you know, that this is a good way to set it up. And what I think will work well about this is Cope's not going to win the title. You know, he's going to lose, and that's fine. But they will win the trios titles, so he'll still get something out of it, because that's not going to work for him, brother. He's not just going to lose the title match and not get something out of it. So,
do you think Cope is the reason Christian cashes in?
I mean,
I see James doing the stuff.
James is ready, yeah.
And I know
nothing would make me happier to see Cope win, the internet fucking explode in hate and anger.
And then
Christian wins 30 fucking seconds later. Like, he sacrificed Darby, but it's fine.
I am in full support of sacrificing Darby, unless he comes back from the mountain and is a god. But
producer boy, take that comment down. That person doesn't know what they're talking about.
Also, who's Edge?
The announcers already made the guess that whoever beats Mox would get cashed in on by Darby. So I feel like they're just not going to do that, because they set it out in the open. It's too obvious. It's not what they're going to do. Everyone kind of expects Darby to win, and then Christian cashes it in. I think they're just going to have Christian cashed in prior to that.
I get that. I feel like that's... You don't want to do that on the first contract.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
they don't have a time limit on this thing. Like, they haven't said, like, oh, it has to be a year. Like, we don't know when Christian's going to cash in.
But also, he cashed in a contract already and won. So it wouldn't be the first. He's the first contract holder.
And it was to Copeland, I mean. So...
Yeah, so if he loses to Edge, it would be like the get back. He did it last time, and
I get where Danny's coming from, because this is a different level. But Eric's right. That is a nice story, like, flow. That is a nice thread to follow over a long period of time with AEW. Ooh, that line of thinking really changed what I thought was a certainty of Christian winning.
Yeah, that is interesting. I I don't know how long I really want to be on board for this Mox title reign. So
I'm kind of getting. I don't hate it the way a lot of people do, but I need something.
It
Like
needs to.
it
It
lacks
needs to get
direction.
into the. I'm gonna be honest. It needs the Shane McMahon reveal.
yeah,
It needs that like there's someone behind the scenes, and it doesn't have to be Shane. It can
Yeah.
be if they can come up with someone better or
I
something
don't
that makes
even
more
need.
sense. But
I don't even need a final boss thing. Go ahead, Rev. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I had posited Tony Khan months ago, but I don't think that's gonna fly anymore.
yeah,
But like just in the way like they need somebody like that.
someone needs
Yeah.
to come in that makes it like because you can't just do another John Moxley world title run that.
I think it's a little bit of both. I don't know that I need there to be a higher power anymore. Like in
And-
the beginning, I thought like, yes, that's what it needs to be. But there needs to be something. There needs
And I
to be
think
a reason.
the more I watch it, the more it's just feeling like the Bloodline stuff.
I thank you. It feels
And
like Bloodline.
and it's just okay. John Moxley, who was in the Shield, now has a group of guys with him who's just gonna beat everyone up so that he can win his matches because he's 47-year-old John Moxley and can't get out of bed until 6:00 in the afternoon.
I
Like,
don't even know that he's 40 yet.
If he was 47, he'd be in Ring of Honor. We established this.
I'm
worst
sorry.
part-
I'm throwing numbers out there. I'm sorry.
The worst part is he's 39. He hasn't even hit 40 yet.
yeah, he's still younger than James. Okay, so cut him some slack.
I hate
But
you.
no, look, I don't like the bloodline comparison because all the people in this group can wrestle. So like, I don't like that shit, bro. Like, at least
but you know what I mean. It's just it's the same thing.
Yeah.
We just as wrestling fans got through 3 years of that bullshit
Yeah.
just for Tony Khan to go, oh yeah, that did really well. Hey,
try
John.
something similar.
Yeah.
I think what makes it more disappointing is that there was a tease in the beginning of something else, something more. Like Mox kept saying, like, I'm doing this because I have to because of what's coming. And it's like, well, what's coming?
What's
John?
coming?
Like it doesn't need to. Again, it doesn't need to be a person. It doesn't need it, but it needs to be. There is something happening that I needed to do this. You're just saying, I don't like these young kids, and they.
Yeah, why
Get off my lawn.
why are all of you united? Why like I get Wheeler and Claudio and John being together, but like how does Marina fit into this? How does Pac fit into this? Why are they all of a sudden magically aligned with the Blackpool Combat Club?
And it's even worse with Yuta because Yuta said like I joined them because they opened my eye. Yeah, I had no choice and I saw what needed to be done. It's like, nah, bro.
But what is that thing? Because
exactly
that is so yeah.
So I believe the phrasing was he got drafted, but I think there's two things with this. One, Mox has been way too cryptic for too long. Like, tell us what the fuck you're talking about. At some point, you have to do that. And two, there very obviously needs to be a reckoning. If it's not going to be a person, there has to be some monumental thing that we're, whatever's coming that we're working towards. And we don't know what that is, what it could be, nothing. It's just been so, like, just without description that we don't know what's happening other than Mox is trying to kick AEW's ass. So it goes back to where it was in the beginning when everyone was grinding and stuff. But even then, he doesn't say that. We're just assuming that's what he means.
Go ahead,
what's the point of beating everyone up, at that point?
There needs to be a reason, a good one at least.
In the beginning, this was very much you people haven't, it's been 5 years and you're still in the same spot. He attacks Private Party and it calls these people out. And that's a fine story.
Right, I like that.
Then they tell the story, Private Party wins the tag titles, Daniel Garcia wins the TNT titles, and now they're unrelated. They're not part of the story anymore. Yep. Why hasn't that been acknowledged? Why isn't that part of the story? Why isn't he like, okay, good, you did this. Now he sends Claudio after the TNT title. He sends Yuta. I mean, we can pause on more Yuta Garcia matches for a while, but still, incorporated. It's like you wanted the guys to step up. They did. Why is that now outside of the story? Why isn't it like, okay, why isn't it like things are going according to plan? Why isn't he being like, okay, this is what I wanted. Now here's the next step. Like, where's that aspect of it? And like, for me, I think World's End was a bust, and that's really where I've lost it with the story. Where I didn't mind it. I wasn't like enthralled with it, but it was fine. But then like, why is I get why, 'cause Hangman's the main character of AEW, but like, why is he forced in now during the bad part, during the filler fatal 4-way? Like, why isn't he going on a longer journey where he realizes what he has to do to and become the person to stop this? Why is Jay White there? I'm not doing this to do my normal shit on Jay White joke, but like, why the fuck is he a part of this? Like, his involvement is baffling to me at this point.
Well,
It's like
he
this
had a
fatal
reason.
4-way like made things so much worse, and it was like a filler arc that we had to get through to
That's
move
how it
on to
always
the
is.
next chapter.
Anytime you involve more than one person, it's just
filler, yeah.
you
It's-
know.
I did like the way Mox played them off each other though. Like it's like you guys are all gonna screw yourselves, and that's what came to fruition. I like that part of it, but how we got
But that's
there,
not
I
even
agree.
really. I'm
I
sorry.
can kind of
that's
agree
not-
with Danny, but
But
yeah,
that's
even
not even
then,
really what happened because
because that ending was so bad.
and like it's what muddies the story even more. I want people to step up to me. I want people to prove that they're good enough to take this from me. But the problem is, we've seen on a few occasions that people are good enough to take it from him. The only reason he's still champion is because he's got his fucking goons doing the work for him. So it muddies up the mission statement, and it just makes it so much more confusing. I think Danny, I think everybody said everything well. The one part I got to disagree is with Hangman, because I do think there's a real shot Hangman could be that guy later, but don't waste it now if you're not going to take the title off of him.
That's what I just said. Like,
Well, I didn't hear that. I thought you
I
just
agree.
said
I said, why are we wasting Hangman here when he
Oh.
could be the guy to do it down
Oh
the
no,
line?
but that's my point. It's not a waste because it's a multi-man match.
And Hangman's
multi-man-
also
Why is he in it now when he's not in that state of mind to be the hero for AEW? It's so jarring to the story Hangman has been telling. It doesn't work for what I believe Hangman was doing the best work of his career all year, and then it feels like a
whole state.
sudden like, well, now you're going to be on the babyface side of this, even though he's not getting along with them and he's still being grumpy Hangman. It's like this is not the time for him to have entered the story, in my opinion. I really think him and Jay White's feud needed to stay away from the title, and he needed to spiral more and go off the deep end. And then when he starts to come back to reality, that's when he goes after Mox. This just felt like I don't know. I didn't like this. I just felt like it was a weird turn for Hangman, who was on like a perfect path.
I get what you're saying. Jay made sense to me here because he had 2 or 3 guys on his list that he wanted either revenge on, or like when he came back from being injured, like he had his focus on. So Jay made sense to me. Orange made sense to me, and I think Hangman kind of padded it out.
But because he has been feuding with White, and he's just like, I will, he not in the same way with Swerve, but almost in a similar way, like, I just want to keep you from getting the title. And then for whatever reason, he has a problem with Orange, and he's always hated Moxley. So
yeah,
like there was stuff to do there, but I do agree. Like he was probably the weakest link of that.
He was the most shoehorned in.
Yeah,
Which is crazy because you have lower mid Carter Jay White in there, but like,
Jay came back on fire.
Why isn't Swerve upset with these guys? Because he was upset with the Elite earlier in the year and was the I'm gonna defend AEW guy. Why hasn't he gotten in the mix yet? Why is he like? I'm cool with these motherfuckers.
Fuck, that's why.
Pure headcanon.
Because Robert Lashley says otherwise.
Oh yeah, him too. So multiple bald-headed fucks. Bobby, please don't kill me.
Again, pure headcanon here, but I think it was just circumstances. Like everyone was saying, like, after he lost the title to Bryan, he needed to focus on Hangman. And then he was injured, and then not injured, but he was gone. And then he came back and immediately got called out by the Hurt Syndicate. And then Ricochet's been distracting him. And I also think that there's probably a part of him, and again, headcanon, after he lost the title, he felt that he needed to, like, build himself up again. Like, at least mentally, he was like, I lost my shit, so now I got to work on me right now. And everyone else could worry about the company.
I mean, not to mention, too, like, AEW, you need wins to get a title shot. Like, you don't just get gifted one. So, I know he's Swerve, I know he's former champion, but he does still need to build up his win count, and he hasn't had a lot of big ones recently.
Roderick Strong's in the Gauntlet match next week. He wasn't on TV since his last pay-per-view appearance where he lost. Hangman was in the 4-way. He lost 2 matches to Jay White back to back. What are we talking about?
Sometimes feuds dictate.
And admittedly, in this instance, Mox is the one who requested the match.
Yeah, this wasn't a Tony Khan booking. This was a Mox thing. So, like I said, sometimes feuds dictate. But yeah, I really wish they could just get this whole Moxley Deathriders thing on track. Like, there's clearly something there, and they can't really, fit the
I gave it the benefit of the doubt for up until World's End, and I said, maybe they're just holding out. Maybe World's End is the significant pay-per-view that they need to get to, where it's like, this is where it's all revealed, because it's been 3 months or whatever, and just still feels like they don't have a true direction with the group other than do Bloodline.
Yeah. I think that's fair, and I'll address Eric's comment in a second, so you might as well leave it up. Because I do think that's fair. I admittedly tend to let things try to play out to the end before judging them. But I think if you are upset with this storyline as it's going right now, you're more well within your rights to be. Because even I'm a little disappointed, because I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What is the point of this? I'm hoping that they answer that question at some point. But right now, we don't have an answer, and it's very frustrating, I think, for everybody.
Can I say real quick? On paper, I love the idea of it.
Right?
If you were describing it to me, I'd be like, oh, that sounds good. But just, I don't know, something is just a little off.
I agree. There are weeks where it's treated like the most important story in AEW, and then there are weeks where it just feels like this is something happening in the background. It's a weird way to treat your world title, and it's a weird way to treat what is supposed to be a company-wide storyline. So it's a bummer, and there's a part of me that wonders if they had a plan. Like we talked about and we joked about it with Shane. Like, was that a plan that maybe fell through and they needed to pivot at some point? I don't know, because they were teasing the shit out of Shane, like, on social media.
Yeah. And even if it wasn't going to be Shane, I feel like it should have been pivoted to someone else.
I admittedly, I don't know who that could be that I care the same way. I know Producer Boy would say Cornette or Bischoff or anybody. Quite frankly, I would not care the same way.
No, especially if Cornette showed up on my TV.
Yeah, it's no. But regardless, I think they could still salvage it. But I know, and I've read it online, I've spoken to people, everyone just is sort of just, all right, we know none of this is important until Darby challenges for the title. And that's not a bad thing to be upset with. Like, I get it, because it does feel predictable. But I am also of the belief that just because something's predictable doesn't mean it's bad. We all knew
title win.
Exactly. Thank you. We all knew Hangman was going to be the guy to beat Kenny. It's how we got there that made that story so fucking captivating. And I don't think they're doing it that, like, you could not tell me why Darby was in the Continental Classic. It didn't make sense to me. Didn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Okay, I was gonna say I got a 20 Sting shows up and helps Darby win the title. Like it's gonna be a thing, but it's still gonna be awesome.
No, of course. But like, I do think they're muddying up Darby getting there too. Like, where was he today?
Yeah, probably half dead, like he usually is.
I think they could salvage it, but where they go after the like. Once Mox loses the title, what does that group do? I don't like. Do they still stand the way they do? Do they still have a mission past the title? I don't know.
They switch their mission statement. They go green, try to offset their carbon footprint. All those driving a truck in the desert, they try to make up for that. They plant some trees.
It's definitely a hybrid.
I joked a couple weeks ago that the real hidden boss of this is going to be Brian. That Brian was just like, fucking murder me so nobody knows that it's me, but I'm the one manipulating everybody. And I would gladly take that.
I would say Eric was saying that it's Sting and Brian who will help out Darby, but it would be pretty cool if Brian was the quote unquote higher power in this instance.
How about we bring Nigel McGuinness into this already and just let him and Mox go at it?
That'd be fun. All right, Nigel
like
back in the day.
Early on, like
the Mohawk.
I agree with Danny.
He's got to spike his hair again. That's the power.
That too, but I agree with Danny. After what they did to Brian, that would have been a match.
I was fully expecting that. Like, I hate Brian, but I wouldn't kill him.
Only I get to beat him up. You don't get to beat him up.
Like after the amazing sit down interview he did with Yuta.
Yes.
Like after that, like that could have been the better World's End match, even as predictable as that would have been. It's like, yeah, I would have been way more emotionally invested in that. Like watching Nigel die trying to avenge Brian. Like that would have been
I didn't need to watch Nigel die to Lee Moriarty.
I gotta say though, I don't think we could have Nigel like straight up die because we already have one color commentator on the shelf in Taz, so losing a second one would probably be a little bit rough for the.
He wouldn't die. We've got Mariah May on standby. She's just got to give him a kiss. It's fine.
Where's
reverse Snow White?
And where is this Daddy Magic erasure? Like that man comes.
It wasn't erasing, but like they tend to switch off. So
listen, Nigel's the best commentator by far. It's not even close.
I like Excalibur.
He's number one.
Nah, Excalibur's a little.
Well, he does play different.
Mid, but Nigel's the best. Honestly, if it was just Nigel and Taz, I'd be fine with that.
All right, no, Excalibur and Taz during the Elevation and Dark Days were like God's tier.
That was just the Excalibur and Taz podcast with some wrestling in the background. Yes. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
What if it was the fucks?
Rule 86.
I gotta read before I read out loud. That's on me.
I know there's a rule about that on the internet. I'm sure you can find it. I did want to go into
I'm sure there's a lot of numbers.
Yeah. A little bit because I did mean to mention this. Eric saying, why is Tony allowing Mox to run around like he is? I thought Justin had a decent answer saying Mox carried AEW on his back when old Punky got injured jumping a rail. So maybe Tony Khan, considering the fact that Moxley has carried this company at multiple points, is just giving him a little bit of leeway in kayfabe.
If the ratings had improved, you could have made a real storyline out of the company was in a bad place and he approves of Mox trying to whip everybody into shape. But the problem is, I think this storyline has actually turned people away.
Yeah, I think, again, we were saying just everyone's very frustrated with it at the moment. Obviously, we've been talking about it for 20 minutes. Eric also saying, really quick, the pivot might have been the Bucks. I don't know if that's the answer, but we do have that open-ended question of why the Bucks were shredding everything when they lost the titles and got the hell out of there. And then the Deathriders tried to attack them and ended up killing, what's his name? But I feel bad. I forgot his name. But like
Brandon
there
Cutler.
is,
Brandon Cutler.
yes, thank you, Cutler. But there is that open-ended question with the Bucks, and they are wrestling at Wrestle Dynasty, so I'm curious to see if and when they come back. As we say hello to the Seth freaking Rollins. I hope it's Sir Owen.
Can't believe he's here in our stream.
Yeah, we have Seth Rollins, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome,
an
Seth.
AEW show.
Seth.
Go to bed, everybody. But yeah, I think, look, just to put a bow on all this, there's a lot of unanswered questions with all this Death Rider stuff, and it is obviously negatively impacting the storyline. So hopefully they can give us some sort of detail, or like, again, like a mission, at least a specific mission statement, or have that reckoning, or bring out the higher power, whatever it is. They need to answer some questions because they are clearly losing the audience with this storyline. But all right, that was Dynamite. I thought it was a pretty solid episode. It was the first one on Max, so they were going a little all out with it to put on some good matches. It was okay. James, nothing completely out of the ordinary, but I think we started the new year on a decent note.
I mean, I think there was an egregious absence.
Is it Kenny?
How do you go to North Carolina without having Kenny Omega there?
Because he's probably in Japan.
Well, whose fault is that?
Kenny's.
New Japan's.
You don't say that, Nick. You don't say it. He's done nothing wrong in his entire life.
Ever.
I watched him kill a guy, okay?
Technically, he had the Bucks kill a guy.
That's fair.
And look who that guy was. A fat piece of shit named Adam Cole.
Can I just say, I really love that we've gone from fat piece of shit Adam Cole to MJF, like, shrinking him down to the, like, frailest piece of shit Adam Cole. The man has had a drastic weight history.
I didn't think that coming on this podcast was going to mean we were body shaming Adam Cole tonight, but
if Excalibur can do it, I can do it.
I expect nothing less from James.
I'm sorry that I know a good PWG reference. My bad, bro. My bad.
Look, we try to make this a tolerant place, but sometimes it's just really hard with James around.
Yeah. Especially when we bring up the women's division.
Oh, 100%. As much as I love women, James hates them.
Yep.
You love them for bonkable reasons. I almost said I hate them for bonkable reasons, but I was like, it doesn't make sense. What am I doing?
It's one of the many reasons we love them, except for James.
Hey.
But hey, look, like I said, Nick, I think Maiden Voyage on Max pretty good tonight, right?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, there were definitely some situations that kind of left me head scratching. One that I actually did want to bring up before was I don't think it was a very good idea to shoot a segment where you had two of the okayest guys in the company talk shit about Asheville, North Carolina right after they got hit by a hurricane. Don't think that was maybe a great idea. I get it. They're heels, but maybe would have left that one alone.
I know they set up the match for Collision, which is going to be in Charlotte, but I'm hoping they have like a dark segment where the rated FTR just kick the fuck out of them.
Sure.
I think you can do it because they put such focus on the money they raised for it and brought attention to it. And because of how much money Hope and AEW put in, like, if anything, I can say that they could have been, like, the segment was fucking garbage. Like, that shit was genuinely bad.
It's just weird because they're like, look at how good we are. Look at how amazing we are giving them money. And then now here's two tone deaf guys on live TV.
I think it's bad because they didn't have the comeuppance tonight. Like, setting it up for Collision is kind of whack if you're not.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing there. It's small thing, not a big deal. But if I had to harp on one thing from the show, it would be that.
one good thing came from that segment though, and that was we have the same face. It's identical.
I did actually really. I actually thought that was hilarious.
I didn't hear what he said, but
Yeah.
I saw him do this and say something, and I couldn't figure out what it was. That's great.
I thought that was good, but other than that, I agree with you completely. But like, it was worth it. No,
Yes.
Yeah. I also learned Brian Keith had gauges tonight.
Yeah.
Learn something new.
He's probably going to Warped Tour in Orlando, James.
Based on nothing other than the gauges. Oh, that's funny.
Danny, you have any closing remarks before we take it home?
I mean, I like how colorful the show was. It was brighter. The camera angles were a little higher. That was good. Decent start. I'm not offended by the hurricane comments. Like some people are, like I just wish they, were more creative about it. Maybe victim blame a little bit, be like,
gaslight them.
Yeah, you were asking for a hurricane. What were you wearing?
Let's build a house in the path of a hurricane.
Let's also be clear that months ago, or I think it was a couple of months at this point, right? When this story was first like breaking about everything that like Cope did, like Copeland was there first responding, digging bodies out of houses. And then our follow-up is, well, what were you wearing during the storm? It's not a great look, people. We're going corporate very soon.
So what? I can't make my 9/11 jokes anymore? Like what does that
Probably
mean?
not.
HR might have to fine you. HR.
I am
Chad.
HR. I don't know if you know this.
I don't know, man.
Was that in the contract? James, what did you write up in that contract?
Oh, don't you worry.
Listen,
you worry.
I have to bring this to my lawyer.
Listen, I am great HR because I keep you guys in check when you're being misogynistic and other things, but then this is a place where you can show your support for people named Luigi, like it's fair and balanced in the correct ways.
It's also a place where cats make random cameos like once a week.
That's a great tweet by SRS.
But all right, just to wrap everything up here, I enjoyed the episode. Like I said, good kickoff to the new year. So I'm happy. And I'm excited to see how AEW does in these new smaller venues as they continue on. It looks like that's going to be the plan for them, as we talked about at the top of the show. I think it's going to make for livelier crowds, hopefully, at least more vocal ones or audible ones on the TV. So hopefully that continues to go very well. And on that note, I would like to thank everybody so much for watching us here at the Market Down Podcast. We would appreciate it if you did like and subscribe. If you like the video, let us know that you enjoyed what we're doing, especially the chaos here tonight as Nick and Danny join us for the first time in a little while. But again, as Danny will say, they have been on every podcast this year. So we appreciate it, guys. And if you
I was also on like 2 weeks ago. But,
I know. I know. But if you subscribe, you can continue to get all of this nonsense here on the channel. We'll be back here on Wednesdays every week for Dynamite. I know the Gym Pack Zone will be spinning up again soon as TNA returns back from their hiatus. We've been doing a little bit more Raw and SmackDown. I assume we're going to do our best to cover Monday with the new Raw on Netflix. So somebody will be here for that. Probably not me.
Well, maybe if Matt shows up to fucking work for once and does his job, it'll get covered.
Hey, the man was watching GCW tonight, okay?
Yeah, see, we have correspondence everywhere. So we'll be here for that. And as usual, we do our best to cover all of the pay-per-views and other ongoings with wrestling. If you would like to follow us on any of our social media channels, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Blue Sky. The first four are in the description below. Our Blue Sky, just search Market Down Podcast.
You can't see the description below, like the little things are gone because we're blocking.
I know. Well, I mean, literally in the YouTube description. That's why I say that. But yeah, the thing is blocking us for the moment, so I can't read them all, which I usually do. Wait, hang on. Media asset. There you go. Live over really quick. Twitter at @marketdown_pod, Instagram at @marketdownpod. And for those of you who are not here with us on YouTube, youtube.com/ what is it, 3665. All right. Anybody got anything before we go?
Good night.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was
Yeah,
really fun.
We'd love to have you
Bye,
guys
Danny.
back. Bye, Danny.
I'll see you in the new year for NXT, the Tuesday Night Delight.
Absolutely.
We're doing it.
Bring back the
Absolutely.
NXT show.
We need it.
So for Nick Manionis, Danny Hernandez, producer boy Eric Asante in the background, and James Asante, my name is Nick Cummings. Thank you so much for watching us here at the Market Down Podcast. Have a good night, everyone, and Happy New Year.